A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
What's taters, precious? What's taters, eh?
Potatoes. Even you couldn't say no to that.
Oh, yes, we could.
You're hopeless.
Stupid fat hobbit.
You shall not pass!
What about second breakfast?
I thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.
What about side by side with a friend?
I could do that.
I wish the ring had never come to me.
Come on, Mr. Frodo. I can't carry it for you. But I can carry you. What are we holding on to, Sam? There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
Thanks to all our active patrons who have contributed a lifetime of $100 or more to reach Garuk Dong level status.
Here is the list of those special patrons in order of contributions.
If you would like to support our show, check out the Commander Smiths at patreon.com. You shall not pass.
Fantastic.
Welcome to the Commander Smiths.
He talks too. He doesn't just yell. We are the Commander Smiths.
I am Gandalf, aka Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
What do we say next? Don't worry, we're cousins. I don't remember.
Don't worry, we're cousins. Yeah, yep. We got it. We got it.
I can't
and
keep
agreed.
this shit on.
Jesus, no, it's gonna be hot. You keep doing that.
I can't do it. No,
It's gonna get real hot.
Right,
The wizard party that we did a decade ago has come in handy, huh?
I've worn it quite a bit, actually. It's kind of funny. I've worn it the last few times for Halloween. Oh man, that's why there was a big break when I was like, oh yeah, we'll get ready, 2 minutes earlier than we normally, and I'm like putting on the costume and all that shit. And I was like, oh shit, the timer! I got to get this going. This
Wonderful though, and Jesus is right. I want to rewatch the movies basically with all those quotes. Holy moly!
Did you
Such
heard all
good
that?
movies?
You
I haven't
heard-
seen them in a long time.
Did you hear all the
I
quotes?
was able to hear
going?
all that.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
Demonetized for sure, but worth it.
Right. Hey, there's no music. It's just quotes, man. But yeah, I spent like a better half of about an hour of cutting up quotes and everything. So I got them ready for whenever, like you have the potatoes.
What's taters, precious?
That's basically you. Why didn't you wear a
That's why I
a golem?
Even
I'm
you couldn't
Samwise.
say no to that.
Clearly.
Oh, yes, we could.
And then you do this. You're hopeless. That's me with potatoes. Yes, that's
That is an accurate representation of our conversations about potatoes. I agree.
Jeff said Adam's Lord of the Ring obsession has reached, and there's some, I can't see what it says, a fury of levels. I can't read what it says because something's blocking it. You'll see it pop up here in a second. This is Lord of the Rings week. Like, this is the ultimate week, and so we're doing the special. What are we doing for our episode today? I mean, this is a pretty easy one, right? I mean, we're just
Yeah. It's going to be top 10 Lord of the Rings cards between the main set and then the commander sets. We only really picked one from the commander decks, didn't we?
I think so. Whoa, did we? Oh yeah, yep. We didn't have one of the. I had one on mine. Oh no, but never mind. I almost gave away.
There's good cards all over the place.
Yeah,
they did a fantastic job. Hopefully, you're having a blast
yes.
with seeing the cards, because it has been a lot of fun to see how they do it, what they reprint, and just what they're printing. And I've had a lot of fun looking.
Yep.
That's
Yeah. So we have the top 10, like Larry mentioned, but not only that, we're doing a deep dive into this episode. We don't normally go into a whole set with it. We're not going to go through all the cards. Like, we're not doing that.
No.
We're not going to torture you guys through that because you guys have all seen the cards. But we're going to do some breakdowns and stuff. We're going to break it down a little bit more, maybe the specs and all that stuff with this one. A full-on Fury level. Okay, see, that was what was blocked there, Jeff. I couldn't see that, what you had said, because I have like a little... Oh, Josh is back.
I thought you were...
Damn it, I
thought we had another week.
And I made sure, I was like, hey, Josh, don't worry. You don't need to donate. We don't need to take Malort. We've been on a good break lately without having Malort. Oh,
son of a gun.
Bitch. I mean, why not? It's the Lord of the Rings episode. It's I guess it's bound to happen. And you know,
All right.
I kind of put my guard down because I have an 11.1% alcohol beer that's coming my way from my bukkake. So I guess
I'm drinking my Father's Day beer that I got from the kids. They went and picked it out themselves, and it's called Weekend. I'm just kidding. They can't buy stuff, but Weekend Vibes from Coronado Brewing Company. It's an IPA. Apparently it won a bronze in 2019 at a beer festival, and it's okay.
All right.
It's good, but I think I like the fruitier IPAs nowadays, like New England styles, and so it's good though.
Well, really quick, Josh, he jumped in. Thank you for jumping in. Josh is not even in the country right now. I don't know if I can say where you're at, but he's you can write it in the chat, and if you say it there, then we will tell everybody. But Josh, thank you for jumping on here. We haven't seen you for a little bit because you've been on a work trip and all that stuff. So it's glad. Am I glad that you're back? Because this is a Malort. Like,
right. It's an awkward relationship, I'd say.
Okay, so
we really enjoy your presence and time, Josh, that you hang around, and
I'm
not so
pouring
much
one.
the Malort.
Well, we got to start it off right away because
You're right. Okay.
And there is one bottle down. Another one hits the wall, which my wife will love because she says I'm a college kid because I have empty bottles sitting on my safe over there with all these Malort things. And funny thing with
what we should do is fill them up with water and then put like those glow in the dark sticks in there.
Yeah,
that'd be dope.
You get highlighter and we get the black light and everything going. Yeah, I mean, that's what I told her.
Okay. I knew it looked weird in here.
Oh, you didn't have your lights on. There you go.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, it's way too bright in here. I don't remember what I'm doing.
Here we go.
Are we taking the shot?
Yeah,
Josh.
Thank you, buddy. Can't wait to get you back in the States. Oh, God damn it.
I didn't realize that fire could be bitter. And
okay, so quick thing with the Malorts. So do you remember Josie, my baby, our babysitter for our kids? And well, she wasn't our babysitter before that. She was. Right. I've known her since she was like 4 years old or whatever. So she just graduated, which must feel fucking old. And she had her graduation party, and they don't live that far away, like 10 minutes away, back at her old house. And I was there, and we were talking about Malort. Ugh. And these are people that drink, they drink a lot. And I was talking about it, and I was like, do you guys want to try it? And Brad's like, yeah, go get it. And I'm like, all right. So I went home, came back there, and poured up like 5 shots, including to Josie. And I was like, I'm worried. I'm like, these people, they put down their booze. They know their booze. And I'm like, we'll see if they're going to try to be all manly about it and be like, oh, this isn't bad, whatever. All of them just, what the fuck is that? Like, just, this is the worst. Like, because everybody's like, how do you describe it? And it's like, you can't. And they're like, what? Just give me something. I'm like, no, I don't know how to describe it. And then after Brad drank, he's like, it is a mix of gasoline, nail polish, and like the old rag that some restaurant used and they just scrunging it out on. He's like, it's all of that in one drink. I'm like, I told you. And he's like, it doesn't go away. He was like, yep, that's Malort.
Right. It was, and I was trying to explain it to our uncle Rennie over the weekend too. Yeah. And he was like, it doesn't sound right when you're explaining it. and he just doesn't. Nobody believes you at how bad this is.
Like they think
It's
it has
so
to be
goddamn bad.
It has to be like a trick shot, like a concrete mixer or something like that. But it's like, no, this
Right.
is just awful. Unless you're Jesus, which is, or your brother, like, or Shay. Those are 3 people I've ever heard that even like.
Well, no. I mean, Guy was
Guy
drinking
did
it
sip
too, so we got 4. So it's either you love it or you hate it, and it's like a 90% hate rate.
Right, hate.
90 to 95. Yeah.
Well, out of the people that have given it to, I'd say you're probably around that 95% range, and most people gag, especially when you get a bunch of the 30-year-olds or older in a room and everybody took it at the same time. It was pretty amazing.
It was
tastes like
wonderful.
sadness and disappointment, as Renshai says. Yeah.
Talking about SmithCon, we should do a little bit of a shout out.
Good call. Let me get my picture up there.
What we totally forgot, and probably a huge highlight for me and Adam. Maybe not. I mean, I think for a lot of people because it's hilarious. But Chris from the Discord and from SmithCon made a Hawaiian shirt.
Oh shit!
With our faces on it.
If you guys
just like little cutouts of our faces.
Damn it!
And it's on there, and it was hilarious.
You're seeing.
And if Adam could figure out,
it's just like wanting to go everywhere. Look at it. Zoom in, zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. All right, stop it.
Are you doing something there?
Yeah, I'm trying to like get it going, and it's not working. Stop it.
All right. So
all right, wait. Here we go.
Very funny.
Zooming in, zooming in. There. Look at. There. Don't.
There are our faces, head cut out.
I don't know.
It is wonderful.
Did it.
So thank you, Chris, for that.
Yeah,
smile and laugh, and
that was definitely the highlight. Completely forgot to mention
I don't know
how
you can wear that anywhere else. So, but if you're listening to this, at least try and go what we took a picture. It's on Twitter, right? From
yes,
a week ago.
It is on Twitter. So hey, there's a way you guys can. You can you can follow us on Twitter. Hey, I got rid of Twitter there. We don't have to do that in the tags, but you can follow us on Twitter to see the SmithCon pictures, or become a Discord member because then you can see SmithCon pictures as well. So there we go.
Yeah.
But that's where you can see that. So thank you, Chris. That was a delight, and I want to get a Hawaiian shirt where I can do that as well.
I haven't heard anybody say delight since I stopped watching that. Like the Actors Studio guy.
Oh, that is so. I was doing Will Ferrell.
A delight.
Yeah, I was doing Will Ferrell there. That's exactly what I was doing. So I will be cracking this in a second. I'm almost done. It's what is this one called? It's from Ibukaki as well. Ice Cream Social. I feel like we've had this one before.
Yeah, we had
Imperial Stout with strawberry, vanilla, cocoa, and marshmallow. It's 11.1 alcohol. And where is it from though? Barrel Theory Beer Company, which is out of St. Paul. Okay, cool. So we got a local right there. All right. Oh, we just saw Adam's browser history. Hey, Jeff, the good thing is any of the naughty business does not happen on my computer. Now, I wouldn't say that about 10 years ago when cell phones weren't as good and I had to use my computer. You might have seen some things that you probably shouldn't have seen. So,
right.
Right.
Not on a computer anymore.
Yeah.
You have a family. You got a wife.
So speaking of Father's Day, how was your Father's Day? What'd you do for Father's Day, my friend?
I didn't eat a jelly and peanut butter pizza.
Jalapeno.
That's what I wanted now.
Jalapeno, peanut butter, and jelly pizza. Amazing. It was amazing.
That'd be real good.
It was really
That'd be real good. I'm jealous. I went over to the in-laws and it was my father-in-law's birthday as well. And it was a good time.
Nice. Yeah, we just did we're looking at cabins because we're selling the house in Florida. So oh, good for you. You want to hit it so I don't have to go to it? Waiting.
Good. Well, I mean, I was gonna do the hello boobies and then that would
so we did the joke are gonna have a hello boobies this episode because we do not have a Stump the Smith Savant.
We're not
or Staple Versus. We will have polls. We'll talk about that after the tags. We'll get the polls out of the way for the tournament. That was all that we have left. For the finals, we have the finals for the vehicle tournament. But yeah, so we went and looked at we got the peanut butter and jelly pizza with jalapenos on it. delicious. And then we looked at some cabins. Speaking of cabins, on Friday was quite the eventful day. Woke up in the morning with my oldest puking, and we had a showing for a cabin that I knew wasn't going to last long. And so I was like, are you able to go? And he's like, no, I don't want to go. And I was like, okay. And then he puked again because that's why he was really miserable. He's like, oh, I'm good to go. I was like, sweet. Let's do it, guys. We get in the car, and it's 2 hours away to go to where we want to look. We get 45 minutes down the road. Guess who has to puke again? He does. We pull over. He pukes. He's good. Get going. Every 45 minutes, it was stop to puke or diarrhea. Stop to puke or diarrhea.
I'd much rather puke than diarrhea on the road.
Let's see. Me, well, every time
You'd rather shit your puddle out of your butt on the side of the road.
Do you remember I pooped on a tree? If you go back 150 episodes,
I do remember that.
I shit on a tree branch, and it was so much shit the tree branch didn't come back up. Remember that story? Anyways,
I do.
So yeah, it was.
Oh, good for you.
That is appropriate. It was very impressive. So yeah, it was a quite eventful day. We looked at the house and we put an offer in. We didn't get it. There was 7 other offers, but yeah. And you know me and my phobias with puking, so it was fantastic Friday.
Fantastic. Happy Father's Day weekend.
Well, yeah, Sunday was much better, and we looked at the house and we went and saw the new Spider-Man. So good. You just saw the first one just recently, right?
Rewatched it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought, that dude, it's so good. Like it's such a good. I'd almost say this is a trilogy in a way because they are.
No, there is. There's a third one coming out in like 2 years.
They didn't ever announce that it was gonna be a trilogy, but after this one came out, it's a trilogy. They all fit together like perfectly or whatever. So, but yeah, so we saw that
because they're fantastic.
Oh, it was really good. Okay, that was it about that. Oh, and I got more new hats for Father's Day. I know
it's the same.
Well, I know it's pretty much the same. But the problem with my all black hat is it had that sun. You know, it wear black after a while being in the sun and sweat. It starts to turn like what is it like red almost? You know. And so my other one did
copper.
That. Yeah, and then I got a green one which I'll wear next time. So cool story, bro.
Nice.
I think
that button you can
Story, bro.
There you go. Okay, so that's it for the weekend. It was a good weekend. Father's Day, cabins, puking. That's what I have on my list. This week we're fucking crazy. So not only is today the Lord of the Rings episode, but we have Lord of the Rings all this week. So there's going to be tons of videos here. And I'm going to just kind of get into the tags, I guess, in a bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So basically this week, how this is going to shake out. You guys, if you're listening and you haven't subscribed to us, you should, because we're going to have battle boxes going on this week where it's not just regular like our last ones where they're set boosters. We're doing collector boosters. Larry and I, what if we open the One Ring, Larry? What happens? Or even a serialized soul ring. Like that's
I hope I open it.
No, it's don't.
That is in my hands.
Don't.
I go dark. I'm turning everything off. You don't even know where I live.
I'm gonna have you sign a waiver.
I wouldn't screw you.
Yeah, I know. So we're gonna do battle boxes. I believe it depends on when our boxes come in. I think we have that planned for Friday, right? Is what we are kind of initially. It depends on when
I think that's
everything arrives. So if everything's in shipping, we just don't know when we're all getting it. We are also what were we doing Wednesday? Oh, first ever, we are doing our budget pre-con upgrades. So we'll have budget in there. We have a $20 limit. You can't go over $20. Basically showing you how you can make these decks better. We're doing it with all 4 commander decks, and that'll be on Wednesday evening. And it's gonna be weird if you guys are joining us live. So stick with us. But how we're gonna do it is we're gonna cut it like the first video, and then we're gonna cut the live stream off, and then probably give a 5-10 minute buffer, and then come back on with the next decks because we want to keep them separate because they're different decks and we want whatever views of that stuff. So we'll be doing those live. So there'll also be a non-budget part to it, so it's gonna be kind of cool. We're adding budget, and at the very end it's like, hey, if you don't have a budget, add all these fuckers in here, and then that deck's gonna be even better. So so that's gonna be our first trying that out. We'd love to have you guys join us to let us know how we're doing with that, if we need to change anything or whatever. And then you're also gonna be opening What did you order? You got something from CK or no? You
I got a
from
set
Card Shop
booster
Live.
box.
Set booster box, and the Commander decks, right? Are those coming at the same time?
Yeah, I want to say there's something else in there too, but I'm not 100 on that.
Well, you have the collector packs will be in those, the sample packs. It won't have the One Ring, but you're gonna have those in there.
Right. No, I want to say. Let me check. I keep going.
Okay. And then I don't know when this is going to be. Both of us don't know when those parts are happening. But, excuse me. That burp just came out of nowhere.
You all right?
It just jumped there. That's that fucking Malort. I used all my CK credit to get 8 collector booster boxes. 2 of them, Larry, you have to hit that. Well, maybe I'll hit it for myself while you're looking.
No, you can do it.
Oh, good for you.
That's the only button I know where I'm set. So.
2 of them are the ones that we're using for battle boxes. The other 6, what I will be doing is going to be kind of cool. And actually, I haven't told you this yet, Lowry, but I'm going to be opening them 2 at a time. So 2 boxes, but they're going to be spread out within an hour of each other. And so I did tell you this part where my wife came up with this idea. You go with the 3 books, the movies. First one's going to be The Fellowship. Second one's going to be The Two Towers. And the third one's going to be The Return of the King. But here's the twist. In those boxes, like if I'm opening the Fellowship of the Ring boxes, if I open one of everybody from the Fellowship, I will take a Malort shot. So I'm putting a bounty on finding one of each of those. So you have to get Frodo, you have to get Merry, you got to get Pippin, you got to get Gimli and Legolas and Aragorn and Gandalf and who am I missing? Boromir. So you got to get all of them in there. And if I get all of them, which it doesn't matter which version, then I will take a Malort shot. Then we get to the Two Towers. In the Two Towers, the bounty is fighting Sauron and Saruman and the Ents, because the Ents kind of take down the tower. So we got to kind of add that in there. So those 3,
all right.
If I get anything like Treebeard or anything with that, or even March of the Ents or whatever, actually, no, it has to be Treebeard. I want Treebeard. So
that's in the Commander decks.
Yeah, but you can get those in the
You can. I'm just saying, it's unlikely. You're setting
Mm-hmm.
yourself up for success.
Right.
But failure.
Right. I'm opening 2
You
boxes.
clearly don't want to take these shots.
2 boxes. And then I believe there are 3 versions of Aragorn, isn't there? Aragorn? I think there is.
Yep.
And so the Return of the King, you need all 3 versions, and I will take a Malort shot. So that's
okay.
So there's bounties.
What about
out
the
there.
Black Gate? If you from the Commander precons, the Black Gate as well.
No, why would I don't need the Black Gates. No, we just
that's where he's turning. That's where they go in, and he's like everybody follows him.
He's like, I'm gonna die. Let's all just run in. No, or just get Aragorn.
That was kind of
Aragorn. You get all 3 versions, and I will take a Malort shot. So that we have 3 bounties on each of the videos, and so they'll be within spread out of basically like a 3-hour period. So I'm kind of hoping that it's. I hope I don't have to take a lot of Malort because that could be.
You
really
might have
bad.
to take 3 shots.
Yeah, I might. We'll see.
It's not that bad.
So okay, so that is what's happening this week. We got a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff, as you can tell. A little excited about Lord of the Rings. Let's see. You guys can become a patron. Like our new we don't have a new patron. We haven't had one for a little bit.
It's been a while. Yeah,
this has probably been our longest stretch. We had this big long like push to get the 1,000 subscribers, and we got it. We did it. We got there, and then it's just been like, all right. They helped. Everybody helped us get there. But so if you are listening and you have not subscribed, or wait, that's not what I'm doing right now. See, the Malort's already kicking in at this point. I am feeling warm. Oh, damn it. My fan isn't moving that fast. Shit. All right. So I'm going to probably get all like sweaty here. Maybe when you start talking, I'll get up and turn my fan on.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. So you guys can become a patron by donating $1 or more. That gets you into the Discord. That helps support the Commander Smiths. Help support us. You get chatting with us and all that. You can play games, Discord games. We're going to start that up again here after vacation. I thought we were going to start up after SmithCon, but it turns out both you and I are gone all of July. So
right,
you're gonna get
it's gonna be a shit show.
Yeah,
but we have a schedule. Yeah. We'll get them in, I believe.
Yep, we're gonna get them in somehow, but it's gonna be.
We are together at our spots where we can record like 5 days total.
for July.
intersected
All
for,
of July.
for July. Yeah.
It's insane.
And we will basically record every day.
Yep. So $1 gets you in the Discord. $5 gets you proxies each month if you so choose. The higher you move on those tiers, you can get foil proxies. And that just helps support us, and it helps. The proxies are fantastic. It's like a benefit for you. You get the $5, $10, $15, or $20, and then you're not spending that much money on your Sensei's top or anything that's made. We have 350 plus proxies that have been made, and so you get to choose from any of the list. So it benefits you it's supporting us, but it also benefits you. So, but the free way to support the show is to jump on YouTube and subscribe there. You can also financially support us by donating like Josh did, which maybe at the end of this, we do the next shot maybe, or do we do it after? Oh, yeah, we'll do it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it after this.
So you can do it where Josh did that with the shots or the beans, or anytime we are live, you can donate. The hot beans is basically the rest of this week. You guys can make us take those. Probably not on the, I will say this, that on the deck tech stuff, on the budget deck stuff, we're trying to keep those clean. Not clean necessarily. We still want to be us, but we're not going to probably doing a lot of chatting. It's more of getting to it. We will reference things if you guys are saying things.
It might try and be a real video.
Right. It might be a real video. There won't be shots or anything that are available during that, but everything else that we do this week, especially battle boxes, you guys could jump on and donate there. But free, if you subscribe to YouTube, you get to see all those videos all the time, especially if you make it so you get the notifications and all that stuff. Tons of stuff that go out, especially this week. We have a lot going out, but a normal week, we have a lot going out. Kind of like your curated MTG, which is twice a week. And Larry, why don't you tell us what your curated MTG was Saturday, or it's going to be tomorrow? And I'm going to go turn my fan up while you do that.
Good question. Tomorrow's going to be Ghastly Demise. Let's go with that. Nope, that's not the right.
I could hear the from my headphones as I walked away.
Ghastly Discovery. Ghastly Discovery. It's 2 and a blue sorcery that has it's a good card. It's a good card. Give me a second.
It's a good card.
Has Conspire, so you can tap 2 blue creatures to copy the spell, but what it does is it draws 2 cards and discards a card. So you Conspire, you tap 2, and you can tap 2 however many in conjunction. So you can tap like 6 blue creatures and draw 2, discard 1, draw 2, discard 1, draw 2, discard 1.
Oh, that's not bad.
And so it's just kind of a cool card. It feels like they're doing, I mean, for me, they've been making cards for me, commanders that just want to tap. So like Saint Draft and Rem or Decasia. So I'm just talking about the video for tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, what did you did Spotlight last week? What was Spotlight?
Yeah, Saint Draft and Rem, convoking with tokens and damage, and still working out the tweaks a little bit, but getting really close to a final list. So if you want to go check that out on Moxfield, if you're interested in what's going on,
the video
kind of slaps. It's way better than I thought.
Oh, really? The video is up and everything, so check that out. And he has we have it linked for Moxfield and everything, so you guys can check it out. Because then, how far did you get down for cuts?
Oh yeah, so I started out with about 300 cards.
Holy balls!
No lands involved in that.
No
got down to about
300.
No.
You had no lands in there.
No lands at that point.
That is by far our most cuts that we've ever had to do it for a video. Holy crap.
So I got it down to in the 90s before I was just like, okay, this is hard. And it was a really, really hard deck to kind of like build and work with. But it's going really well. So a lot better than I anticipated.
On air production, are you wanting to do a second video, or are you wanting to do the final
no, I'll just do the final, because I have it. I've been goldfishing it and switching cards in and out, and it's to a point where it's playable, but it's not like fine-tuned, if that makes sense. Like I could show up and be happy with how it kind of shows up.
Gotcha.
But I'd want to fine-tune it a little bit more to figure out what goes on. But the it's kind of slick. Like I keep on taking out ramp and land and adding and draw, and I keep on running out of cards.
Is this the one that you and I were talking about, where you're just like, it just has like almost accidental combos with it, or is that the last week's one?
That was Shalai and Halar, probably.
Yeah, I think you're with a 1/1 counter stuff. I think.
Yeah. So this isn't that. This is just convoke, and the convoking, like turning creatures into mana, is crazy. That's all there is. And making tokens and untapping your creatures, it goes fast.
God.
So, or it can go fast.
This beer that Ibukaki gave. I'm glad we got these bigger cups for. Oh, speaking of, we will have a store coming up, and you guys will be able to buy these mugs. It doesn't quite fit this entire beer in there.
Oh,
did you pour? Did you pour? But this thing is dark. Oh. I'm gonna be hammered at the end of this.
They're going to be, yes.
So yeah, the spotlight decks, like Larry was saying, the next one is going to be his the final spotlight of the deck. I forgot what we named that, actually. Now I'm just brain farting with it. But we have, and then we're also
spotlight deck,
and then also the gold fishing, and then actually we got to play these decks. There's a bunch of decks we have built and have not played them on camera yet. So there will be versions of every level, every step of the way when you're looking at those decks. So kind of it's a little informational thing on how to build and how the deck works and all that. So, okay, so that's YouTube. Subscribe. That is the biggest thing you guys got to do there. Twitter, we already talked about that. You know, things happen there. It's Twitter. And you can direct message us there. Or you can direct message us by shooting us email at commandersmiths@gmail.com. We would normally, nope, we don't do, that's where you can send the suggestions for this anymore, because that's
anymore.
But we are at our polls. Which, no, wait. Oh, no. That's the wrong one. It's...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
And I should have actually had the slideshow up. Okay, so we have the vehicle tournament going on. We are into the final, well, it was the final four this week. So we had two matchups. Our first matchup is Unlicensed Hearse going against, Sovereign, Skyship Sovereign Console Flagship. It's completely covered, so I was like, what card is that again? So number 1 against number 4. Lowry, where do you think this shook out to make it to the finals? Who makes it to the finals? If you were to choose, you're doing the truth serum. Which one makes it?
I'm probably Skyship. It's very close, though.
That's
just because it's like,
pick.
no. It's just that, like, creature removal is more important than graveyard removal.
You almost do that with like a question mark at the end of it.
Yeah. I mean, like,
all right, who put a question mark on the teleprompter?
if I'm running Graveyard Hate, I kind of want it to hit the entire graveyard or all of them or everybody but mine type thing. And so this doesn't do that. The Hearse doesn't do that.
It is a 2-drop.
It's cheap and it can get big later on.
Ooze was huge, and it's still kind of huge.
Yeah, baby. So I think it should be close, but I'd probably go Sky Sovereign Council Flagship.
This one is pretty close, actually. Actually, they're both pretty close, but this one went to 67%.
Yeah, that's not very close.
Well, I mean, it was close. The funny thing is fuck Twitter. I will not put polls up there because this got 0 votes.
Wow.
This was between
Twitter.
This one was between
Elon.
Discord.
Where are you?
This was between this. I think that's the first poll we've put up that got 0 votes, and I was like, nope,
fuck 'em.
I'm never fucking putting these up there again. That's too
just
much of a waste of a time.
Leave.
I mean, it took me 10 minutes just to put the polls up, motherfuckers. Sorry, that's a lot of swear. I'm angry.
Just cussing at people that potentially will vote for it later on.
Go to YouTube. That's where you got to vote. It's better to vote there anyways. 67% went with Unlicensed Hearse. So the number 1 overall pick did move on.
Gets into that first round.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Or that last round.
Last round, yep. All right. And then the last matchup, second matchup, is both your picks. Your number 2 Smuggler's Copter going against number 6, the surprise, the Cinderella story of, is it Shorakai? Shorakai Genesis Engine. So this one can be your commander, which I think is what's helping this one kind of move along the way.
I agree.
where do you think this one shook out? I mean, you kind of said beforehand, Smugglers has that little nostalgia type thing to it. But
maybe Shortcut. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know this one.
Well, it had 69% of the votes. Oh, yeah. Are you looking for boobies?
Hello, boobies.
Thank you. But 69% of the votes went to Shorkai. Shorkai makes it. Whoops, why did it do that? Get out of there. Makes it into the finals. Okay. Oh, yeah. That was the matchup. Yeah, that's the matchup. Let me go back. So that is our matchup for the finals. This week we'll have the voting go. Number 1, Unlicensed Hearse going against Shorkai. Number 6. So that's you guys will be able to vote on YouTube and Discord. Those are the only 2 places you'll be able to vote. So if you are for some reason following us on Twitter and not on YouTube, jump on YouTube and subscribe, and then you can vote there. You don't even have to subscribe, but it'd be nice.
Go vote for Shorkai.
Yeah, now you're going.
I need to win one of these tourneys.
It might. I'm not kidding. Like,
it has a shot because
really
of the commander
does.
part of
it.
it.
I think the commander thing is what's it's driving this one. Like, it isn't like close. All the beatdowns it's taken or it's given. It's all pretty handily taking out its opponent. So, okay. So we got to get to let's get to the card preview stuff. Oh, and I should probably
we got to get to that shot.
Oh, that's right. Hang on. Should I do my mom's thing? Malort drink. What is that?
Those people that make you drink that.
Oh, Mom.
Talking about you, Josh.
Yeah. Those people
that
make you drink that. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. No, it's gross. Why are we?
Why are we? Life decisions. What are we doing? What is this? As my neighbor said, we are whores for Malort because we get paid to drink Malort.
I know we've upped their purchasing. People buying their stuff, right?
And that's why Minnesota has it. Basically, it's because of us, right?
No, they came here a little bit before we started. That's how we got it. But I'd have to assume that if people were curious enough, they went and bought a bottle. I think it's very similar to how guys just go, ugh, hey, smell this. And then you smell it for the guy. I feel like that's what people should be doing with Malort, just so they understand that. Yeah, exactly.
Hello, boobies.
There we go.
That was perfect. All right. Cheers.
All right. Josh,
thanks, Josh.
Cheers, my man.
This is number 2.
Safe travels.
Here we go. Yep. Nope. Yep.
It's so bad. I think we
chase it down with a nice 11.1% alcohol, which actually is pretty good. Ice cream social is pretty good. Oh, one more of those. One more. Then we are done. All right.
This is like worse. Is this worse? Oh my god.
I guess I could play this for our segment thing. Yes.
Top 10 commander cards you shall not pass.
Fantastic.
I do still love. I'm glad that I got this because this button is gonna stay.
You shall not pass.
I'm sorry. It didn't. I couldn't hear it.
You couldn't hear this? You want to hear it again?
You shall not pass.
No, it's all crackly for me. That's fine. It's okay.
It's the.
I wanna compliment you on your top 10 voice there. It definitely sounds like you could be the announcer for like the cartoon Mighty Mouse back in the 1950s. I'm just saying, it's spot on. Spot on.
Thank you.
Where's Mighty Mouse going from now on?
All right. Okay, so we have our top 10 commander card. Oh, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually
like
caught it as a
Rocky or
now I
Bullwinkle.
hear it.
And
I was
stuff
like,
that?
I kind of get what you're saying. And then, yeah, I get it. Okay. That works out. All right. So we have our top 10 commander cards from this set. We take in everything. We have the Commander product, which there's 4 decks in this, and we have the set proper. We are not including the like reprints, so obviously the toppers don't matter in this. But we will get to that a little bit later, guys. But so we have actually made a list from 10 to 1, and we're going to work our way down to our number 1. We'll see if this card makes it, the One Ring, which is what I have showed here. It's probably going to be on the list. So I'll just give that little... I'm not going to give Lowry spoilers where I'm like, hey, the number 1 pick, guys, just so you know.
Are we still talking about that? I mean...
RoboCop said, just watch The Fellowship with my 6-year-old. He had nightmares. Wife was mad. My kids... The funny thing is Lord of the Rings, and mine are 6 and 8. They were more, they were bored with Harry Potter and watched the entire thing of Lord of the Rings extended cuts, and they freaking love it. Like, I think they like this, but they're a little bit morbid with that. They're like my wife and I. They like scary stuff. So the cave trolls and the goblins and all that stuff, they like that, and so that's why I think they dig it a little bit more. But anyways, let's get on our number 10. Laura, do you want to start us off at 10, or do you want to end with...
I can start. Do you want to get the button ready?
What's the button? What are we on for
the
10?
Kid can't even read?
Oh, yeah.
I can do it too. All right.
Hang on.
All right. So our 10 spot
Okay, wait, let me write
of
it.
the list of the top 10 cards for the Lord of the Ring Commander cards, it's going to be Palantir of Orthanc.
Yeah.
Or thank you.
Orthanc, yeah.
Orthanc?
No, Orthanc. It's Orthanc, yeah.
Orthanc? Palantir?
Kid can't even read.
Palantir?
It's a
Palantir?
It's a Palantir, yeah. You got it.
I got it
You
then.
got it, Palantir.
Palantir of Orthanc?
This is weird for me to be like, yep, good job. Yep. Your reading is on. Good job.
There we go.
I didn't even hear what that one was.
Oh.
It just sounded
It was
like
nerd.
a gurgle.
It was
Okay.
nerd. That was super loud. All right. So Palantir, blah, blah, blah. It is 3 mana for
Orthanc.
legendary.
It's Orthanc.
Artifact.
Orthanc.
Orthanc.
Not Aura. There's no A. It's Orthanc. Orthanc.
Orthanc.
Orthanc. Or thank you.
Keldheim. Can you make that a button yet? Keldheim. All right. Orthanc.
Touché.
Palantir of Orthanc.
Here you go.
Did I get it?
Yep.
To your standards? Is this okay?
Yes.
All right. 3 mana legendary artifact. At the beginning of your end step, put an influence counter on this card and scry 2. Then target opponent may have you draw a card. If that player doesn't, you mill X cards, where X is the number of influence counters on this card, and that player loses life equal to the total mana value of those cards.
You know what I just realized as you were reading it? I thought the scry 2 was the alternate to the draw, but you always get to draw or scry 2, which
always
is
scry 2.
fantastic. That's awesome.
Right.
Just for, and then you do the.
I mean, if that's all it did, it wouldn't be
yeah,
awesome.
but you know what I'm saying? Then it's a protection racket after that for one player. And then you
I
can
would agree, yeah. Yep.
like, and if you add counters onto this, like that could really wreck somebody. I mean, yes, self-mill decks are going to tend to like this because it's like, hey, do you want to mill me, which is bad, or do you want me to draw, which is bad? Like, either way, this is bad. But even in regular decks, after you get a couple turns in, you're scrying. So you could set it up to be like, well, this is a 6 mana drop and an 8 mana drop. Do you want me to draw, or do you really want to lose 14 life? Like,
right. That's the question, is like how many counters on it where you're milling makes it be like, oh, you know what? You're just going to start drawing. You're just going to draw 1 card from now on, or scry 2 draw. And the scry 2 into a draw is not bad for 3 mana on a consistent basis. I like that. You know, the card is better than probably Phyrexian Arena.
Yeah.
Do we want to say that?
Well, it's artifact. It can go
I
in
mean,
every
scry
deck.
2, and either you're drawing a card or you're dealing them damage.
The only,
So it's
the only thing I would
maybe
say
on
is,
that level.
yeah,
That's
the only thing I
weird.
would say is decks
I want to
that
retract that.
that decks that maybe you have lower CMC might not love it as much because then it's just like, oh yeah, we'll just mill you. We'll just mill you out, mill.
Right.
But if you're playing,
there's that red Gear Hulk that you like mill 3 and somebody can either
combustible Gear Hulk. I use that a lot.
So either somebody takes that damage or you're drawing those 3 cards and they don't know what's going on.
Right.
So this kind of feels like that too, along with what that black card you're talking about. And so
protection racket,
protection racket.
It's his
and
favorite card.
He was kind of right about it.
No, he was. That's a goddamn good card. Are you kidding?
I don't know if it's a good card.
Are you? Oh my God! Stop it! Stop it!
I kind of agree with Hockey on it.
Oh, you are such a kiss ass. No, it is because you haven't used it yet. It's really good. I've
tried.
Oh.
I've tried. It's all right.
You're a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say.
Wow.
That was a little aggressive. You're looking for
Okay, kill him.
Right. So I think this is a really, really cool card.
I retract that statement.
But I think there becomes a point where, it's probably around 4 plus or minus 1 where people just let you draw. Yeah. And I think at 3 mana, this is fine at that. Scry 2, draw a card for 3 mana.
Mentioned before, scrying is kind of like half a draw. So it's almost like drawing 2 cards at that point, kind of.
I mean, you're like half of a half. If you do 2,
are we at 3/4?
It's like 3/4 of a draw. And when you scry 3, I don't think it ever gets to one full draw.
Really?
Then it goes to,
even though you're going through and be like, I don't like any of these cards. I feel like that's almost better than a draw. If you're at like scry 10, I don't know. I think this
when did you do that? That's not even a thing. You can't scry 10.
Why not? There's cards that let you scry. We got some scrying decks out there now. And this fits in a scrying deck. Hey, look at that. Instead of scrying, you draw it? Yeah. All right.
Anyways,
we don't need to sit on number 10 for this long.
That was number 10 for
10
10 minutes.
We've ever. Right. All right. So the next one, we will sit for 9 minutes and talk about this card. And then the last card, we'll only talk about one minute.
1 minute.
So it's Elven Chorus. And this is 3 and 1 green enchantment. Look at the top card of you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. And so it's like that, what is it, Azir thing from Amonkhet, that one that allows you to look at your top and you can cast creatures from the top. It's like the god, isn't it?
Vizier of the Menage a Trois.
Menage a Trois. Yeah.
Menage a Trois.
And then, but the bonus here is creatures you control have tap to add 1 color of any mana. So it has that Cryptolith Right ability onto it. So you have like 3 things that are fantastic, and it's an enchantment. So what is one of the hardest things to remove in Commander?
Creatures.
We're not doing staple versus, Lowry.
Oh, enchantments are hard to remove. Most people don't
put enough
plan for it a whole ton.
Yeah,
you'll get a Wrath or 2 in a deck, but that's kind of it.
Or if you look at the Commander decks, the pre-con decks, they put like 7 of them in there for some odd reason. Anyways, we'll get into that later this week because
I like how you said there's 7 of them for some odd reason.
Oh, bazinga!
But I also like this. I was kind of half comparing it in my mind to like Augur of Autumn, which is a fantastic card as well. But yeah, the Cryptolith Right aspect, playing off the top, always being able to look at the top. Like those are all good things. I agree. It seems like a really cool card, and I'm excited for it.
All right. And then we move to number 8. We're going to one of my
like 2 minutes.
I know we did pretty good there. One of my favorite colors in this this game we call Commander.
All right, it's going to be Spiteful Banditry. X red enchantment. When Spiteful Banditry enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to each creature. And then whenever one or more creatures your opponents control die, you create a treasure token. Ability only triggers once each turn. And so, fantastic, right?
Wiping the board, you get 1 treasure. But from that point forward, anytime an opponent's creature dies, treasure.
Right.
Treasure. So it's what?
And what were we comparing this to? The black version?
The Meat Hook Massacre, which it has the same casting cost too. Meat Hook is 2 black and an X. Can they do this with all the colors? Like those are the 2 removals. Like you can't really I can't think of anything you do with blue. I guess bouncing stuff, but that doesn't make any sense. but green would be
whenever an opponent has a card go to their hand, you get to draw a card.
Maybe
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay.
They're not
There's
doing
ways.
that. Okay, so this is cool. I think that seems like the once per turn. I wish that wasn't there, and I can say that for just about every card that states that.
Yeah,
but I wish it stated
players, so you could get one. You could get one off of each player, like a 3.
I'd be okay with that, but I think it'd be more like one or more creatures, and then be fine with that. So, like, if somebody wrapped the board, you only get one treasure,
and then if
creatures die in combat, you only get one creature. But if you're like Pyrohemia, where you're like, tap 1 red, 4 creatures die, you get 1, and then tap another one, and then another 2 get. Then you could potentially just treasure off that way. But I would rather have it in like instances of every time
entire turn.
Yeah, but I like your way too. Is whenever an opponent has a creature die, it triggers once per opponent. Is that how you would want to say it? But this is a really good card.
Yeah.
And probably appropriate. Like, we're just doing wishful thinking and making the card.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, here's the card, but here's how you make it even better.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7 on our list might be higher or lower, whatever you want to call it, than people are thinking, but it's Mirkwood Bats. People are probably gonna be mad that we put it here. It is a common. It is 3 and 1 black. Is a bat, flying 2/3. But it's whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses a life. So I think this could have been a little bit higher if it was in the colors of treasure, but I think it would have been a lot more broken. Black does have a lot of, you can make the treasures too as well, but it also has tokens. Like you have your spirit, your white and black spirits. You have those, Tesa decks. My Tesa deck's going to like this because I'm making tokens, making tokens, sacrificing tokens. There's a lot you can do with this. And the fact that it's common is crazy. I guess the CMC of it being 4 is probably why it puts it there. Like maybe if it dropped 1.
Well, but this is one of those things that it's kind of like, it's weird that this isn't like once per turn at common.
Right.
And then the other card is a mythic, but it's only once per turn. This card's really, really good. And I think in my mind, why we kind of set it back a little bit was just because it's specifically tokens, and not every deck is tokens. And so you might like, it's a non-factor for a lot of decks, but like Chatterfang, this rocks,
that's
right.
Fantastic.
And then there's that Jund Dragon that it's going to be crazy. And like, this is going to be a crazy card in really good decks. Gabe, great Prosh. Yep. Look, there are a ton of high tier decks that are going to love this card.
Yep.
But again, we're trying to, the aim for this is like, what are you playing the most and what fits in the most decks and stuff like that. And this is for token decks, and it's a top tier card for token decks. So it's good. It's good.
Very good. All right. We move to number 6. Am I on number? Who just did that one? Is that you or me? It was me. So you're on this one.
All right. The One Ring.
Oops. I should just spell ring because I guess the
does
one.
Does it feel like it should be this far back? Yeah, kind of. All right. So this 4 mana legendary artifact, indestructible. When it ETBs, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until end of turn. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life for each burden counter on the One Ring. You can tap it, put a burden counter on it, and draw a card for each burden counter on the One Ring.
So the thing I think that gets overlooked is that not the first line of text, the first paragraph. So you have indestructible, whatever, but you gain protection from everything until your next turn.
Right.
Like it's kind of like Teferi's protection in a way. You gain it, your creatures don't.
It's like an ultimate fog. So like your creatures can still die and all that kind of stuff. But if they attack you, you don't have to block.
You don't block. Yeah, you just let it all go through.
Their damage doesn't happen. So if they have like a sword on them, it doesn't count. If somebody's gonna try and target you with Settle the Wreckage or some type of discard, they can't get you.
Yeah.
It does a lot of work.
I think the thing that most people focus on is the drawing part, because it is interesting because you tap it, put a counter on it, and you draw that many cards. So if you have a way of manipulating the counters, if you can put more on, draw more cards, or if you can untap this, draw more cards, you don't lose life until your upkeep. So if you have maybe a way to sacrifice it, if you had too many counters on it, like at 3,
I mean, the untapping part is crazy with it. Like Unwinding Clock or Seedborn Muse.
Oh man,
it's on your turn. It's draw 1, then the next turn is draw 2, then it's draw 3, and then you just drew 6 cards. Is that right? Your turn, second, third. Nope, it's 10 cards, and then on your turn you're taking 4 life.
Yeah, that's totally worth it. Like you do that for Sylvan Library all the time. Like you take 8 life to draw 2 extra cards.
No, it'd just be right.
Yeah.
So
this is just insane if you have some other ways to manipulate it. Even if you don't, I still think it's a very good card throughout the game, especially if you get it kind of early. And if you have a way, I don't know, flickering this, somehow bouncing it and coming back and giving yourself protection from everything until the next turn. I mean, that would be kind of a nice thing, and it resets the counters. Right. If you're able to bring counters off of it, if whatever, like add counters.
I think the life gain part is good too. You know, like Brago, you can potentially just blink it so you can avoid that life loss. But I mean, how much life do you need to be losing for you to be like, oh shit?
Yeah.
Right. Like
because if you're losing 5 life, you're also drawing 5 cards.
Right. I don't care about that unless I'm about to die.
Yeah.
And so this could kill you potentially. The indestructible is nice, but also bad.
Yeah, because you can't
it's
get
rid
of it.
Like if you can't get rid of it super easy,
you're screwed. But at the same point, you're drawing. You can try to draw and find that answer to get rid of it or flicker or whatever. There's plenty of sacrifice artifact stuff. So and
I like the flavor here of it. Like when you comes into play and you cast it, you gain protection from everything.
Jeff, that is a good point.
Very much like Jeff putting the ring on and disappearing, like you're saying.
Yeah. Jeff made a good point. It isn't flickering wouldn't work.
Right.
It's
just removing the counters.
Yeah.
Is that what you were thinking was happening?
No. Well, the removing the counters was one, but then the flickering was also, I was thinking of the giving you protection, but it does say on cast.
You have to cast.
Has to be cast. So the interesting, then since that is on board, I will say that when it enters the battlefield, no, if it gets countered, you won't get that either. I was going to say, if it's on a cast trigger, you would still get the protection from everything, but it has to enter the battlefield, so that wouldn't happen. So X-nay, all that stuff. But this has so much potential with so many decks. The Frodo and Sam deck, it's obviously not in there, but that's one of the ads that I would add. Did you
see the 4-card art together?
Yeah, I love that.
Smeagol and the One Ring, and then Sam and Frodo up top, and it's 4 cards together. God, that looks so good.
So I'm not 100% positive on this. I think it's right, but if you get the bundles, you get all 4 in the bundles, I think. Or
I've only heard the One Ring.
But you get the scene is what supposedly the bundle has. Oh, and it's either that's where you can get all 4 of them, or I thought all 4 of them were in there for the bundles.
Okay.
I don't know. So we'll there's so much stuff, and we're going to kind of get into that with the other stuff here in a little bit. But yeah. Okay. So that was what did we have the One Ring? 6. Okay. So we get to the top half here. Number 5 is our only Commander card, and I guess you could probably guess this because it is the top card that's in the Commander sets, but it is the Cavern Horde Dragon, which is 7 and 2 red. That's ridiculous, but
this thing's crazy.
It costs X less to cast where X is the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls. Well, people are playing treasures or artifacts like you normally do. This is probably going to cost a lot less.
And they can't like sacrifice their treasures in response to this being cast because you're in priority, you're casting it. And so they can't just like, blah, 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 you got to pay more. That's not how that works.
Yeah. So that Smothering Tithe player, you go ahead and get your treasures because this is making my dragon only cost me 2. The big thing is it's a 6/6 flying trample haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. Well, let's say that player got you down to making this cost 2. Well, you might be making 7 treasure tokens right off of that.
This shit is crazy. I love the aggression on this, the artifacts that you get, the ramp, and the potential the 2-mana 6/6 flying trample haste.
So
just crazy.
Just a question. Do you like this better than the ancient copper dragon, which is the rolling the dice? Of course you do, because you don't like rolling dice.
Yes, I do. I personally like this better. Yes.
I actually might agree. This is probably going to take the place of ancient copper dragon in my Dragon's Approach deck because it has haste.
Oh, the haste.
The haste is huge. If I can get, do the Dragon's Approach and get this out and then swing in with it, that's pretty fantastic there. And
it's also more likely easily castable in your hand.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
And this is more with the trample, you're more likely to deal damage.
That is also correct. You just need to deal 1 point of combat damage.
Right.
So, all right. Number 4. It is on you, Lowry.
All right. Thank you kindly.
Get it up.
Last March of the Ents. 6 and 2 green sorcery. It cannot be countered. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield.
Oh, green.
I love this card.
It's so good. Like, the fact is like, even if you had like no creatures on, but which you're gonna have creatures, you're in green, but let's just play this out. You have no creatures, but you have a lot of big creatures in your hand. You're not gonna cast the creatures from your hand. You cast this and you play them for free because this can't be countered. They aren't being countered because they're not being cast. You're just playing them for free. This is just ridiculous. And then if you do have creatures in play, which most likely you do, drawing cards equal to the biggest toughness, and then you cast like, what? This is just dumb.
It's great. It was great. And what it is, so there's the expertise. What is the expertise? It's 6 mana. You draw cards equal to the highest power that you have, and then you can play 1 spell for free.
Yeah.
Rishkar's expertise.
There you go.
That card is really good.
Yep.
This is better.
Yep.
Right.
Give it that
it's not
extra
just 1
2.
spell. It's all the creatures, and you're drawing based off of toughness rather than power. But it's very comparable, and this card is fantastic. I love it because I loved that scene. I love trees. I like rocks.
I love lamp.
Love lamp. And so
a lot of things.
I love this card.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely maybe try and get it into a deck.
Oh yeah, look at that little
If I get
Gandalf hair that was on my like, what is this white thing on my ear? It is a Gandalf pube. That's what that is. Yeah. What did Jeff say? He said this is appropriate power level for 8 drop in today's meta. Yeah, for sure. This
I can agree. It's not, because again, those creatures go out and there's a turn for somebody to respond, and those creatures that you're putting into play can't be countered, so it has to be kind of a wrath from somebody. They got 1 turn, and then you're just attacking with a ton of creatures.
Yep.
And
you leave that crater. You have this in your hand and your crater hoof in your hand. Sure, let's give everything haste and let's do some fun stuff.
Crater hoof doesn't give everything haste.
Well,
it has haste.
It has haste. Sorry. Yes, you're correct.
Right.
All right. Number 3 is probably we're gonna get some flack for this.
I don't know. I agree with us.
But it is the most expensive card in the set at this point. It is a rare, but it is Orcish Bowmasters. I was going to say Bower Masters. Bowmasters. It is. Thank you.
He can't even read.
Hello, boobies. I should have been doing this whole time. That was my plan, was to be like doing like.
Stupid fat homie.
Oh, but you can't hear it, can you? You didn't hear that.
I can hear that one. I can hear that one. I don't know why there was a problem with it before.
And you couldn't hear this.
I cannot hear that. It's you shall not pass.
Dang it. That's the one I really want you to hear. That's the one.
That is the one I really want to hear too.
Damn it. All right.
So good.
Anyways, so Orcish Bowmaster. I want to say Bower every single time. 1 and 1 black for an orc archer, 1/1. It has flash. That is the important part here. When it enters the battlefield, and so it gets the entering ETB, and you get it right there. And whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first one they draw on each of their draw steps, it deals 1 damage to any target, and you amass 1 with orcs. So orcs 1.
Which is army.
Yeah, it's the army with orcs.
So you don't get to make a bunch of orcs. You're just making a tall orc.
But if it's on somebody else's turn and they're drawing, they're drawing an extra card beyond theirs, you could go, well, I cast this. In response to that, I do 1 damage to this. I get a 1/1, and you're drawing your extra card. I do another 1 damage, and now I have a 2/2. And now, anytime that anybody's drawing extra cards, you're doing 1 damage. It's any target. It's not just to a creature. It's not just to a player. You're pinging anything and making an army. Like it's really good. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, this should be number 1. It should be whatever." But we went with what are we gonna play?
We would play with more,
and we're gonna.
So
play
these top 3, I'd say, are all fairly good.
Yeah,
they're all, this whole list I've been really happy with, but these bottom 3 are basically in their own separate category a bit.
Yeah, because we had these 3, and then we were like, all right, where do we organize these 3?
Yep. And so I really like this card as well. The thing is like I can see that this is crazy in Necosar, right? You wheel it and everybody, you're going 7, 7, 7. You just 7 to the face.
Oh yeah. Windfall stuff, Wheel of Fortune stuff. Yeah, that's
right. This works super well in there. And then your orcs are like a 20/20 orc.
You almost said a bad word there, Lowry. Oh wait, we say that instead of hork. I don't know where.
Stop being a hork about this.
Yeah. I take this 10 times out of 10, I think, over Bitter Blossom. Like this replaces Bitter Blossom for me because you can manipulate it, like you just said, using draw effect things.
Yeah.
Making people discard their hands and drawing that many cards. There's so many things you could do with this. Where Bitter Blossom is good, but it's every turn. You're just getting a 1/1, get a 1/1 flyer. This one has the direct damage built in on it.
I guess the question ends up being is like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to go wide or are you trying to go tall when it comes to tokens? And
yeah, but you have the direct damage part, which is very interesting on here.
Right. So if you're thinking like, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Like if you have Bitter Blossom in a deck, this replaces it, and Bitter Blossom's an expensive card, and so I can agree with it. Like for me, I have like maybe one deck that I would put this in. I do have one deck I would put this in if I had it, but I'm not rushing out to get it, and I'm gonna hope that it goes down in price.
Yeah, well,
that's what I'm hoping.
We will talk about that in a little bit as well. Foreshadowing. All right,
but it's a good card. Yeah. It's 2 mana. I don't know if it needed flash.
No, I don't think it did.
I don't know if it needed flash.
It just made it that much better.
Yeah, maybe if because it like in this scene when they're after the Balrog, right? This is where it's coming into play, right? In the movies.
Yeah.
After the Balrog, they're coming in. I wish.
Is that where you think this comes in? Like,
I think so. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't think. I mean, by the picture, there's trees. There's like
Yeah, that's
green in
true.
the background, so I just
So
think
is this the end of the Fellowship?
I just don't even think this has a place. I think they just have them in there. I don't know.
Well, do you think that orc right there is about to kill Boromir?
Oh, too soon. Hey, that's
You think
actually
that
good.
was the one?
That's actually probably a good point. That could be it, right at the end of the Fellowship where we lose Boromir.
That could be what's going on. Okay, that's a little different. I'm okay with what's going on here then,
All right.
because they just kept on coming, and the orcs
Lucky.
they couldn't stop them. Oh, yeah, I mean, that'd be. I mean, I feel like there's I coming at an appropriate length time. Like if you just came on coming, I don't know. That's you would be coming on coming if you came on coming. Okay. So that's all I'm saying.
Right. You're Lord of the Rings experts right here. No, I'm just kidding.
This is your fault.
No, this is Josh's fault. He gave us Malort, and
That's
Malort.
true. Should we take another shot?
Oh shit! Yeah. Or let's finish.
Or
the
wait
top
until
10.
after.
Let's
All
finish
right,
the
all
top 10, then we can get into that. All right. So you are on number 2.
All right, I'm
wait,
on.
Let me get drum roll. Hang on a second. Drum roll.
I think it doesn't have to be a drum roll just for one.
Well, because yeah, there it is.
I can't hear this.
Oh, the drum roll ended already.
Is it done?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
It's gonna be number 2 is Mithril Coat.
Mithril.
It is 3 mana to come out. Legendary artifact. Equipment has flash. It is indestructible. And when it ETBs, attach it to target legendary creature you control, and equipped creature has indestructible.
This just straight
And
up
so
replaces what's its nuts?
Dark Steel Plate.
Yeah, like it does for Commander. Or you go hand
Likely.
in hand. You have both of them, but I put this over that because most of the time you're trying to protect your Commander and what they're doing, and this is at flash, so it goes in. You don't have to worry about the equip costs, and it's indestructible. Now your Commander is indestructible. Like the only difference is the equip cost if you're attaching to something else, not at the flash, speed, whatever, is
1
2
more.
Yeah, it's 2 compared to the 3 here. So
Yep. I'd rather have the flash and the auto equip onto a legend.
Right. Like this,
Like big time.
This is just a great card. And Commander's
Dark Steel
Plate
Plate for me,
or Dark
I
Steel?
have not played
Sorry.
it in a long time. It's something that I used to play, and it's just something that's worked out. And this has worked its way in my opinion. I'd rather
really quick though. That got up to what, $15? Dark Steel Plate?
I don't remember the price.
This is sub 5 at this point. Like
I'd get this.
all right, we'll talk about that in a second. I know
Okay.
we're doing the specs part. All right. Drum roll for the number 1 card and hitting it. And our number 1 card is it's green. Oh, I can't spell. Delightful.
Delightful.
Did I spell it wrong again?
No, it's delighted.
Oh, it's delighted.
Halfling.
Dang it.
Delighted halfling.
Well, I liked it being delightful. Let's see, did that work? There we go. Delighted halfling. This is basically kind of like your little Birds of Paradise, kind of in a way, but it's 1 drop green, halfling citizen, 1/2. It taps to give you a colorless, or add 1 color of any mana. Spend this mana only to cast legendary spell, and that spell cannot be countered. Huzzah,
Right.
huzzah.
Right.
We love Bop. Bop is.
I think
1
somebody brought this up, like this versus Bop in a staple versus.
Oh, this would be a good one. I was gonna say Bop is like 1A, and this is like 1AA.
Like Alcoholic Anonymous.
Speaking of,
Let's get that shot. Let's get that shit in. Woo-hoo.
Why did you turn into the Pillsbury Doughboy?
That's Minnesota company.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, like, Bop is an all-time favorite. Like, it's just good. It's a 1 drop. You get an 0/1 that taps for any color.
Let's talk about this card.
Well, that's what I was about to say. This one,
Okay.
you, at the very least, you're getting a colorless card. to cast your commander or any legendary spell, it's not just a creature, it's a legendary spell. You also, it doesn't get countered, which is fantastic in green. Like that's, what would you take over? Like we're not doing a staple versus with it necessarily.
We might, but maybe this is just kind of taking the part. I'm probably going to go with Bop if I have to choose one or the other.
And I probably would too, because I go with that's my nostalgia card. Like that is the card that like,
right.
It's
unconditional, whatever color you want.
That's the one card. Like, you know, I talk about, we try to own at least one copy of whatever. Bop, I have about 8 different versions, every different version that I can get of good for you button. All the different versions.
Good for you.
Thank you, of Bop. Like that reminds me of when we got into Magic. Like that was the big card. Like that was, it does, and it's still good. You know, it didn't get, power level, not power level, power creep. Did not power creep it out. Bop is still good. You know, that's one card from
very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is right up there. Like that's what I was saying. It's 1A and 1AA. A is this spot.
It's a AAA card. Yeah. All right. I agree. And I really like that can't be countered, because it just stuff that protects your commander, especially the way that we build when it comes to the commander is very central to how a deck plays out. And so like if your commander's not out, it's not nearly as good of a deck, right? That's just how we build. And it's
nothing is more frustrating than casting your commander and then getting it countered, and now you have to pay 2 more to get that commander back out.
Right.
That's why Cavern of Souls, I've mentioned that before, it goes in a lot of decks just to protect my commander in a way, you know. And so having more avenues of protecting your commander as you cast them, which we don't have a lot of people that counter in our play group, but there are people, which we don't, like I said, we don't frown. We frown inside. We don't frown outside against people that.
That's a good way of putting it. Well, and I guess here would be maybe a different claim, but like, would you run this over, like a Llanowar Elves?
Yes.
In every, like even in a mono green deck?
No. Ooh,
what about 2 colors? Like it probably starts at 3 colors, like 3 color plus.
No, but the green, but Llanowar, it's very close in that because of that counter stuff. It depends on like if we started seeing a lot more counter spells, if we were doing a lot more like SmithCon every month, you know, like where we're seeing a bunch of people that aren't in our play group, then I'd want this more. But
I don't think people were abusing counter spells. No.
But what I'm saying is like, you're dealing with a lot of decks that you're not used to seeing, like a lot of different players, play styles and all that. Whereas our play group tends to not play high on the counterspell spot, you know? So, cracking another one there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to regret this one.
Because we still have a Malort coming up here, buddy.
We still have Malort, but this is going to be a 2-hour cast.
Yeah, it is. That's Lord of the Rings. It's all
okay,
great.
so I guess the other thing maybe we want to, that's a lot of fuzz.
Ooh.
There's
you're making me
it's a good card.
Laugh.
I'll play it a bunch. And that's what I like. But Jeff H's question, why are they halflings and not hobbits?
Well, halfling is a race of a hobbit. I mean, it's a race of the hobbit. So a hobbit is no,
like
I mean,
the umbrella. I think
under my
it's the other way around.
Umbrella. Well, no, like yes,
or they're synonyms. Are they the same thing?
Because no, you're right. Halfling hobbit is a branch of it, and then because if you go off of the Rings of Power, they are also.
I don't.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay, sorry.
They're also a halfling. Smeagol is also a halfling. Gollum,
Yep.
Smeagol is a halfling. They're like hobbits. So like you have, it's like half human, kind of halfling, I guess. Right. And so when you do all those, it's, yeah, you're right. Halfling's the branch, and then hobbit, Smeagol. I don't know what they're the river folk. What were they? They were a type of halfling. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how it seemed like to me. Like Smeagol is, hold on. Is Smeagol not a golem? And that bothers me, I guess.
No,
even though it's spelled different from Magic's golems.
What?
And also he's not an artifact creature, he's just a creature. But
no, he's don't do it. He's not a golem. It's me. Actually, I'm curious how they do that.
Right.
Let's do Smeagol.
That seems wrong.
I'm just seeing how they
Wizards, what are you doing?
Is it SME Smeagol?
He can't even read.
It says he's a halfling horror. Oh, they have the little thingy on there.
Do they have is he golem in here?
Yes, he is.
Or is he always Smeagol?
I don't remember how to spell golem though. Golem. GOHLEM? Does that sound right? No.
I don't know.
Goal.
I'm just gonna do it several times.
He can't even read.
Yeah, I can't spell golem. That's not how you spell golem. That is not. Oh no, because then we get these. So he's not going to show up here. It's spelled differently. Give me a chat.
All right.
Give me a chat. You guys are on the keyboard wizards right now. Because it's
Jeff,
not golem.
You
it's
can't reject what we're
it's
saying.
an H.
You asked the question. You can't.
Yeah,
it's going to be. We're just trying to figure it out, just like you. We're having
EHM. Is it EHM? No,
I don't
it's
know.
the goal. God.
Goal M. Yeah,
Why did
pronounce doesn't help the spelling. That's
Google.
English. That's English. It does not help you.
Gollum. We'll just do it this way. This so I can figure it out. Or Smeagol.
GOLLUM. That looks right.
GO. What is it? GOLL.
GOLLUM.
Oh wow, that is not. Yeah, but he's considered a halfling horror.
Halfling horror. Yeah, that feels like a mess. He should be a golem.
No, we should not.
Golem should be a.
That's an
golem.
artifact. No, that is a golem. This is.
I know.
That's not the
What?
same.
It just seems like a miss.
No, it's not a miss. Why would?
Why isn't it a miss? Say
He's
the
not
two
an
words right
artifact.
next to each other.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about saying that's.
Say them right next to
No,
each other.
No, it's golem.
Why
and
isn't golem a
golem? Golem. It's actually. I always said
It sounds like you're coughing it out. Golem.
I always did say
Cough it out, both of
golem,
them.
but it is golem. Golem. So,
Golem is a golem. Why
Yeah.
is he not a golem?
but it's a golem, is what you're trying to say. You're saying a GOLEM. God, stop it. Oh, I love the little chuckle. Oh, you bastard. All right.
I'm trying to hold it in.
Thank you, Ted and Jeff, for jumping in on that one. All right. And Renshai on that. Let's take our last
Last shot.
and then we're going to get into a deep dive.
That was
here.
a top 10 Commander cards.
Yeah.
Or Lord of the Rings.
Let's do this while we're taking a shot. Ba, 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 ba. Ba-na-na, na-na-na, na-na-na,
Those people that make you drink them.
Ba-na-na, na-na-na, na-na-na. Oh, Malort. You awful bastard.
You shall pass through my gullet.
I
Thanks,
wish
Josh.
you could see the. All right. Fuck.
It's so much worse. Why is it worse? Oh.
Nope. 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 All right.
So what are we doing? Are we doing finance? We're doing the finance part.
Or do we do the finance? Oh yeah, we end with controversial stuff, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Finance. We're not doing one spec to rule them all.
But I will play the buttons.
Even
In the common tongue, it says one
spec
to rule them all.
I gotta play them all. Spec. You gotta play them all. It's like Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. Gotta play them all.
To bring them all, and in the darkness, find them.
Find them. All right, one more.
One
Spec.
to rule them all.
All right, now I get to all my buttons. The only one that I'm very sad that you cannot hear is the shout. You'll hear it on the editing. You'll hear all this stuff on the editing. Well, like, oh damn it! But you can hear everything else. Like you heard it when I was playing it on the intro to our podcast stuff. So, all right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about specs here. Let's talk about specs, baby. Oh shit.
That was one of them.
Should be the song.
No.
What? No. I mean, like, let's talk about. Oh, I guess Lord of the Rings. It has, but
right. Lord of the Rings is.
I
best.
know. I mean, it is my voiceover of spec.
Yeah. No, that's great.
All
That's
right.
fantastic.
But
That
let's talk about
makes it.
specs, baby. Sounds really good. I mean,
You've done that song though. I'm pretty sure.
but I haven't done it like for specs, right? Although I probably,
No. I think when that was one of the openers in the first 2 years was "Let's talk about specs, baby. Let's talk."
Oh, you might be.
You
right.
did that. You
might be
did that.
right.
I am right.
You probably are right. It's a rare occasion.
I'm always right. Even in stable
Rare
verses. Always right in stable verses.
Are we going to give good advice here? Because people are going to be like, these guys are malorted up. They can't give us.
These guys, maybe. Okay. What is the
Okay.
the angle you want to go here?
Well, okay. So this is very different than any other set that we've ever had come out. What is the reason?
We're not doing a one spec.
No, we aren't doing a one spec.
We're not.
What is the reason that this is very unique? Let's talk about this. I will pull this up so that you guys can just view on the reason why. The reason why this is a very different specking opportunity is because of the One Ring, the one of One Ring.
Yep.
And
In Elvish? Is that Elvish?
yes, very much.
Or is that, why is it Elvish? Shouldn't it be some sort of, it is
No, it's on
some
the ring.
sort of Elvish.
Yeah.
Right? When he's reading it?
Yeah, it's
So
some
form of Elvish.
that I would not utter here. I always did not realize what he was saying in that for the longest time. I think because, yeah, anyways.
Okay.
Okay. So the big reason here is we're going to talk about the One Ring. Yes, obviously we haven't talked about this. We try to hold off to talk about
It wasn't.
what? But you weren't what?
Flowering of the White Tree was not in the top 10.
I know it wasn't.
He's leaving. He's left. He's gone.
So the One Ring is doing something here, and it's doing a very big thing because let me just give you a little background of stuff. I'm getting texts from people that don't play Magic, that they're not in the, they know that I play Magic.
Yeah.
But they're hearing about this because of this card, because they are hearing the bounties that are out there, that it's 1 million, now it's 2 million, now it's
Was
supposedly
it 2.5 million?
I saw
from what
from
I was
the
seeing on
Discord.
Discord.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Discord
I didn't know
see
who
that
was
one yet.
doing the 2.5. Yeah,
I didn't see
I saw
that.
the 2 from like a card store in Spain.
Yeah. And I think actually it was like 2.1 million or whatever. So
Okay.
what this is doing is it's they're doing a great job of this one in One Ring, not only flavor wise, but the advertisement they're getting from it. It's getting out
Right.
there. And so what this is going to do is do something that, one, if you want cards from this set and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you're going to be able to get this for dirt cheap. The longer that this doesn't get found, which we're going to get to this in a little bit, but there's going to be fakes. Fakes are going to, it's already started.
Right.
It started last weekend, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the longer
here would be my advice: don't buy a one of one, the One Ring for $100. It's a fake. It's a fake.
And the other thing is, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. Really, my people that don't know Magic, my aunt, I was talking to her because this is what's also happening. You're getting people that aren't into Magic that are buying it as well. So my aunt bought collector boosters because I told her about, certain things. I was like, hey, this, and all that. She's the reason I got into Lord of the Rings. She is the sole reason I am the Lord of the Rings nerd that I am. And so she bought the bundles that had the collector pack in it. She bought collector boosters. She's still waiting for them to get there, but she got 2 packs that got there early. And so texting, I said, the One Ring is what you're looking for. I didn't say it was Elvish and it would have a one of one stamp. So needless to say, she opened her packs and then called me and was like, I have the One Ring. It was a borderless version. I was like, you do, but it's like a $40 card, which is good because you just paid for your packs right there, but you don't have the one of one ring. I was like, it's an Elvish, it's a 0-1, blah, 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 blah. So with
right.
this,
so you tricked her.
So
can't believe you.
I'm ashamed. But so what this is doing though is you're getting this group of you have fans that are of Lord of the Rings. Like even if I wasn't into Magic, I'd be all about this. You're getting people that are going for the lotto ticket because it's at this point it is a 0.00003% chance that you can get this card in any collector booster in either that bundle pack. They do have a 1 pack in there, or the collector booster boxes, which calculations wise, if you back that the other way, it means there's 3 million collector booster packs that Wizards has printed.
A lot.
Yeah. So
and people are going to crack the shit out of that.
And that is the biggest point.
Until, like you're saying, until the One Ring is officially claimed and potentially paid off or
confirmed,
whatever, whenever it's officially confirmed that it's found, that's when your price decreases on everything stops.
Yep.
Because of this One Ring that you're talking about, it's going to be just ripped open.
Yep. And one of the biggest things is like proof of it is I bought my collector boosters as soon as they were available on Card Kingdom because they knew this was like, it was going to go crazy. So I went to buy it. I had it in my cart and I was like trying to order some other cards with it. And by the time I was ready to order, it was sold out. So it was within like 15 minutes. And I was like, fuck, shit, they're going to raise the price. Because that's what Card Kingdom does a lot is when they sell out, then they raise the price because they realize there's demand. Luckily, because they had just done it, they put it back on for the same price for $360. Well, then as soon as they put it back on a couple hours later, I bought mine and I was just done. I'm like, okay, got my stuff. I'm done. Card Kingdom has constantly been sold out, and every time I check it, it goes up and up and up. And at this point, it was, I think last I saw was 415 sold out. Like I haven't seen them have stock every time I check their inventory. So the longer this stays hidden and not opened, this is like your rare opportunity where if you bought your collector boosters and you want to make some money and the chances are you don't have the One Ring, you could sell them for a very significant profit. Now, the crazy thing is, if this doesn't get found, which it's gonna, I don't think personally Wizards, I feel like has a plant of where they know it's at. They don't want it to not get found because it just isn't good for them,
But that's also bad PR if it's like obvious.
Right. Yeah,
right?
yeah. They're not gonna,
it's not going to end up in like the
professor's hands.
The what?
The professor's hands.
No, but it's not going to end up in like the pre-con little collector boosters either.
Right. That would be crazy.
Like it'll be in a box, but it's going to be in the first wave.
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And maybe the first wave is short.
Do you think it's gonna be the first wave? Do you think it's gonna be found in the first like month?
Well, okay, so that's different than the first wave, right? Like, you got to know, did they short print this? I don't know what their print run is. I know their boxes and everything. The reason why you're paying more not only is because of the One Ring, but it's more expensive
for the Lord of the Rings IP and everything.
The IP. So your stores are paying more money, so they got to charge more money to break even / make a little bit of money. And so that's why you're paying more. Like a set booster, I was hanging out at some card stores last Friday when it was pre-release and people were coming in hand over like a lot. I was very surprised by it. And the, set boosters at that place was going for like 220, 230. I was like, oh shit. Like that's crazy for a set booster.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's 100 over cost of a normal standard set, right? And not comparing this to that, there's more of a Modern Horizons, but it's more expensive for your stores to sell. So in my mind, they probably short printed it in a first wave aspect. But you don't necessarily know what is your first wave, second wave, unless you're selling out a product, right? And so if everybody sells out of product, then more than likely we will find it. But if they don't, then I don't see us finding it for a while, because then it gets buried in that second wave. If there's even a second wave, I see there being a second wave, maybe. I don't know. It's really hard to know what they're doing here because I don't know the store. I don't know. I'm not in the store business, but that's what happens, right? It's going to be in a first wave or in the first printing or whatever they're doing. If there isn't a second wave, then I'm not wrong. It just, if your store starts selling out of this stuff, then that means supply is drying up, and go check other stores. And if supply is drying up where you're at, you can start believing that it's going to dry up other places. And we know that it's going to be only in English packs,
right?
Which does get distributed throughout the world, but not as great quantities as in America.
Okay, so
but it could show up anywhere.
So really quick, Jeff just wrote, I'd see it in a pack if I knew if it would get open like something Magicon. Of course, Jeff, you would say that because you work those little fuckers. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But then Ted actually just wrote, I think second wave is going to be November print. So
that's true. That's true.
So
they're doing
doing
a holiday print,
and that won't be in there. That's the other thing.
I don't think so.
Nope, it isn't. That was the one thing they stated. It is not in the holiday. That one's going to have different versions of cards. It's going to have the same thing, but different art.
Great. I was sick of the art, the 6 arts that we already had. And so having
the
one
problem
or two more is not a bad thing.
This guy is going to own every single version of this because that's what I am. This is my baby. This is my wheelhouse at this point.
Well, it's great because Lord of the Rings people will want this for Christmas as well. So it totally makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm asking for Christmas, but yeah. Right. But yeah, so okay, let's get beyond the ring, because the ring, yes, most likely
it's
everybody that we are listening to, everybody that's listening to us, everybody that's watching this, no, none of us are getting this. Okay, so we understand that.
Wow.
Well,
wow.
Wah 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 wah. Do you have a wah wah wah?
I don't have that one. I can do.
What about
stupid fat hobbit? Stupid fat hobbit.
What's Tater's precious?
What's Tater's? Oh,
this is a longer one.
That is a direct insult towards me.
oh, yes, we could.
You're hopeless.
I'm pretty Irish. I'm pretty much potatoes, and
you're
pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure in your mind you've called me a fat hobbit. So,
all right. So let's get into some other. The thing is like, if the One Ring wasn't in this, there's still so much draw to everything else that's in this. Okay, so we have, well, I think I can pull up the pictures on this. No, get out of there. Stop doing my sidebar stuff. Do I want preview? No, I want this. Let's get. Is this one? Is that what I wanted? Okay. Okay, that's what I wanted a little bit. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted. All right, there we go. Okay, collector boost. Bloop, bloop. Collector booster
bloopers.
Hello, boobies.
The exclusives for this. So we have the soul rings are all in the Elvish. So you guys all know this is all out there, but this is we're adding.
I don't.
Yes, you do. You knew this beforehand, but we're adding to why this is so desirable. So not only do you have the one ring, but you have they go with the theme of it. You know, you have the 3 elven rings, you have the 7 dwarf rings, and you have the 9 human rings. So you have 300, 700, and 900 serialized cards in the Elvish writing, and each in their different arts. But then you also have them in non-foil, non-serialized, which is 3,000, 7,000, 9,000. All of these are worth a shit ton of money, more than pretty much anything that we've had come out in sets. We've been seeing the pre-release stuff prices of $5,000-$7,000 for these serialized cards. It's insane.
Right.
And these are all in there. Like the chances of you getting them are still very minimal. But the thing is like what they're doing is you're not just going for the one ring. These other bounties, or not bounties, other cards in this also are driving the price up. That's not all. You have the surge foils of the box toppers, which I will give Fast Finance credit to this because they did the calculations. But I guess the odds of getting, which number 2, and getting good for you ready. Number 2 pulled a Halo foil. Go ahead and just hit it.
Oh, good.
Surge foil. You. They're being called surge foils?
They're Surge or Halo. It has that, isn't it the swirl?
The wave foils.
Yeah, the Halo foil box topper, which I think wasn't Surge for the Warhammer? I don't know. They're all the same. They're the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. It's still wavy.
But so the rarity of getting those is the same. It's in between a dwarven ring and a human ring. So those are going for thousands of dollars as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have all these things that are added in there. Then the box toppers we've already mentioned. They're in at least, you get one at least in every collector booster box and set booster box. And I believe, is there draft? Yeah, there's draft, right?
Yeah.
But those aren't necessarily like foil. They could be non-foil. So that's why these cards are going to go way down. So you could get great henge, non-foil, sweet, awesome art for dirt cheap. I don't think it's going to be dirt cheap though. I think the lowest that's going to get is like what, 40 maybe? Depends how much open. That's the thing. The longer this stays,
it depends on, the longer that the one ring is not found. How long do you think this lasts though? How that hype?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, when do you think it gets found? Like if it's a month, 2 months?
Let's say it doesn't get found in a month or 2 months. How long does it go until it doesn't get found that people are like, fuck it?
Well,
because the prices are going to go up on collectors, boosters, and boxes, and
bounties are going to go up though as well. The longer that sits there, people are going to want that,
right?
Because the other key is, what if somebody opens it and they just don't want people to know that they have it, and so they just sit on it, and you see those bounties go up from 2.1 to 2.5 to 3 to 4 to 5 million. They're trying to grab you to come in there. They're also getting free advertisement by putting their name out there. But this is fantastic of what they're doing. This is probably going to be the most sold set, and it's not a standard set
ever.
Yes, it is. Unless it gets found this weekend. Like, that would be crazy.
And then it just nosedive. I don't think it nosedive though either, because like what you're saying is like
these other aspects.
The IP is huge. Like Lord of the Rings, people fucking love Lord of the Rings. Exhibit A, Adam, and I love it too. If I was just like super casual into Magic, but I really like Lord of the Rings, I'd buy a shit ton of this. I plan on buying a ton of singles.
Oh yeah.
And like I was okay buying, like, I think, it's a set booster, the 4 commander decks, and I'm pretty sure there's something else coming with it. I could not confirm in my order. It just said this bundle. And so, but I was okay spending some money on this one, to where I was like, Modern Horizons and stuff like that, which is, if we're comparing this ilk, like I was just going to go get singles from that.
Yeah.
So this is, the art is awesome. The flavor is awesome.
And we're not diving into the flavor of it, but we're not
like
doing
just
that
having Bag End be Rogue's Passage is fucking
Oh man,
what the shit?
The box
That's
toppers.
so
I
good.
love that they did all that stuff, and your Yavamaya's in there, of course, as well.
Of course, is Urza Saga? No,
they can't. It's
because
so
it's
good.
not a good. It's not
they
a
can't.
good card.
It's so good.
It's not a good card.
It's so good.
Hashtag Team Force Walk.
Hashtag. Oh, I don't have it on. But we both have the same
You
shirt
don't.
on today.
We
I would
do.
build a better deck. But yeah, no. I don't know. I was gonna go with that, but
It's exciting.
I've been
even
saving.
if the prices aren't there, I'm there for the flavor, and because like I liked the Warhammer decks last year, but I love this.
Right.
Because like I don't really connect with the Warhammer stuff, even though I love the new cards.
They were
that was
good
there.
cards. They were fantastic cards, but I have no idea what Warhammer. Or like
but the reprints didn't do anything for me art wise.
Mm-hmm.
The reprints here, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to use those.
Right.
Because it just
dude, like even look at did you look at have you looked at the Commander deck reprint stuff on there? Like did you see, is that what you're talking about pretty much?
Like, half-assed, yeah. Like
Cultivate
Swan Song and
like Cultivate. Yeah, like it's just like this is the only Cultivate I'm ever going to use ever again. Like I want like 10 of these Cultivates. Like that's
I'll go get like 3.
But
how many decks? I have more decks than you. Why are you buying so many?
You don't have more decks than me, bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm getting very aggressive with these swearing at you. And
You
all that
are.
stuff.
Wow.
It's not a big dick contest yet, because I would lose.
Doubtful.
But
Doubtful.
so this is like the only set that in my last, what have we been playing this? 30 years, 40 years, whatever it is. It's 93.
You're 40. You just turned 40.
Okay, so
Been
30
around
years,
for 35 years.
30
yeah.
years. This is the only time where I'm like, I want one of everything in this set. Not serialized.
Gotcha.
Don't I'm not I would love that.
Right.
But I'm shooting for getting the non-serialized ones. I want the non-serialized.
Here's a
Soul
question.
Rings.
If you got the One Ring serialized 1 of 1, would you even sell it?
That's funny. That is one of the questions on here that I was gonna propose
Was
to
it?
you as well. Yeah.
Woohoo!
I know what I would do. What
Are we
would
getting
you
into that?
do? Yeah, yeah.
What
that's
would
fine.
I do?
We're
No,
just
I'd fucking
open to-
sell it.
But
I have student debt.
well, no, but that's not the question I'm asking. Would you sell it immediately? Would you just be like, boop, all right, who is the 2.1? I'm taking it.
All right. So the question ends up being like, what can I get from Wizards for it? So like
Jeff has made this point.
I really liked it. I think that's probably where I'm stealing it from. So Jeff's saying like, fly me out to events and show it off, and you get it insured, and I think that could be really fun. But again, I got student debt, man. Being debt free, even though I'm not like heavily in debt, like it's all super manageable. But being able to be debt free, if you're talking like 2 to 2.5 million, I'd fucking sell it. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. There ain't no doubt in that.
So my answer is kind of similar in a way.
Unless I could find a way to make money from having it. But it'd have to be insured and shit like that. Right.
So if I opened it, let's say we opened it on stream or whatever.
Right. We're gonna make at least $10 to $15 off of the YouTube streaming.
Okay, so that's the angle I would have. I would take advantage of getting our channel bigger. Like I would, and not saying that you didn't like you doing that would do that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like if you opened it,
sure.
I would take advantage of that, you know, ride the wave a little bit, see where everything's at, see who's all interested in everything. But I would take advantage of having the card. In the long run, not that long of a run, I would wait maybe a month or 2 or 3. Then I would look at who is actually interested. Where are the what are we doing here? Jeff's idea of being flown in and doing stuff, sure, that'd be fine. That's also a way to get the brand. Like if we got,
since he works at these spots, he'd be happy with a free plane ticket. That's all he's looking for.
That's what I would say is like, hey, Jeff, the only thing is I'll come to these events, but Jeff has to come with, and he's our bodyguard with all this stuff. Like he's
yes.
That is my only stipulation. The other stipulation is we have talked about on the Discord. If anybody opened this, I would buy a Gaia's Cradle for everybody that is in the Discord because it fits the and I get you a Keldon Warlord.
I'd get a Keldon. Yeah, I want the Warlord signed from the artist if he has not passed away.
But yes, hell yes.
And if he has, I want it from Morrow.
I would eventually sell it. I would try to reap the benefits from it. For our sake, I would reap the benefits from it. I'm the hugest hugest. Of course, there's more Lord of the Rings nerds. Like my aunt is her name.
Good for you. Stephen Colbert is pretty nerdy.
My aunt's name's in the credits of the extended versions, which is why you should only watch the extended versions because that's
what she do? She in it?
No. If you donated, like became like kind of like a patron before patron stuff was there.
Oh.
You donated like $100 or more. In the extended versions, your name is in the credits as well, and that's why I have lithographs of Lord of the Rings stuff. Is because then she got that from her stuff that her membership stuff.
Okay,
yeah. So that's
very
why
cool.
that's
very cool.
Framed upstairs and all that. But even though I'm in my mind the biggest Lord of the Rings nerd that I know, I still would sell it. Because it is money. It is financially, it is life-changing money. It's life-changing money. You know, like the thing is like there would be, but I would try to take advantage of it. Of course, I would try to get us, to a point where
I would look at what Shaq has invested in and then go after that.
There you go.
That's my man.
We are not even done because the other part of this is now we're starting to see fakes. Like that's the funny thing.
True.
Like how are we gonna know? Like the thing is they haven't announced and they're purposely probably doing this.
Right.
How do you know what the real one is? They obviously showed the card, but how do we know what the real one? Because this weekend I was like, holy shit, the ring was found in Brazil, and then everybody's like, well, it's only English, but like you mentioned earlier, it could be shipped there and all that stuff.
Right.
But you had a bunch of accounts. But that's the thing is, Lowry, should I make a proxy of it and fake like we got it? Because
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Have it be one of our just like
found it
double taped on proxies. Yes.
Why are there like
non-foiled?
No, we'll do the foil. Yeah, that'd be that'd be fantastic.
Is this even real? In the video,
the fake thing that isn't.
I don't
really
know.
A big discussion.
It's not something that I need to worry about.
Yeah,
it's when so many things that are out of my hands and it just doesn't matter. Like to me, I guess
that's kind of a throwaway question. My other one was, should they continue this, doing similar things to this?
I don't know how you do. I don't think it matters. Within the Magic realm, if that makes sense. Like you'd have to like the One Ring makes so much fucking sense.
It's so flavor.
So good.
It's so flavor. It's so fucking flavor. It's amazing. Like, and the fact that the dwarf rings, the human rings, the elven rings or whatever, that they're soul ring, like that's the thing that's awesome. What do we use in Commander? Soul ring. Sol Ring, Sol Ring,
so
Sol
good.
Ring. Like
With it being that rare, yeah, it has to be Sol Ring. I was like Mana Crypt, but it has to be Sol Ring.
No, Sol Ring it's
It
fantastic.
has to be Ring.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, do you do variations of this? I mean, we're starting to see more every
and this is something that we have
serialized.
talked about in the Discord. What other IP could they go into that's like Lord of the Rings level? That does, and the problem that we were running into was these things already have their own like
card
game or games that go along with it. So you're talking like you got to talk big. So you're talking like Marvel or Disney or
But Disney,
like
Disney
Warner
has-
Brothers.
Disney started their own card IP shit,
Right,
like their
right.
own
And
card
they got
stuff.
like Kingdom Hearts, and Marvel has their own games. Star Wars has their own games. Like it can't have its own like gaming IP. And
But,
like you
okay,
got to like Harry Potter.
Let me back this up a little bit.
Are we getting into that or like
No.
DC?
So let me back this up a little bit. Do they continue this in sets where it's a one of one?
I don't think it matters that much.
Really?
I think it's still big, but I don't think it's this big.
Well, no, definitely.
I don't think it's this.
I honestly don't think you could choose an IP or any like crossover to.
What about the Chronicles of Narnia?
Come on, Meow. Like that's not good. That's no. But you know what I'm saying? Like
they were at least friends.
What if each
Lewis
set,
and Tolkien?
What if each set they had like maybe a one of or a one of 10 type thing where they made
I don't think
it?
I care.
But-
Unless it's like, it just I don't care. It's.
But would it help with the sales of like a standard set? Because they are doing serialized stuff with everything at this point.
I mean, if it was a one of one Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, yeah, I'd go after that.
All right, we can end the podcast right now. You guys
Hashtag
can follow us
T4's walk.
I'm just kidding. Oh,
I
hate you guys.
don't know if it necessarily matter. Like Cassius Marsh is not going to be putting $1 million bounty like 3 times a year. You know what I mean? I
No,
think this is special because it's perfect.
Right.
And it's a mix of Lord of the Rings and Magic. And so
there are many bounties going on the soul rings for finding certain numbered ones. And so that's why I'm
like
kind
69.
of no there's been like one of all the one ofs people are trying to pick up, or one of 700 whatever. 69 would be that is obviously a bounty on that one.
Obviously.
But that's what I'm curious about.
420. 420 is
yeah, for sure. That'll be in there.
The 69 420.
It sucks because you can't get it with the Elven Ring because it only goes to 300. So
Still, I don't know. Obviously, they're not partaking in the token. That worked.
I like how you did it.
It really didn't. All right. I mean, if they did this every set, I probably wouldn't care. It turned into full art basic lands, right?
No. Well,
that's basically what it'd be.
But I mean, that's what I'm kind of getting at is they've done it for the last two. We're creeping into this. We've had serialized stuff for the last two sets.
They had serialized Secret Lair like backwards Viscera Seer.
Yeah. So we're getting that with the bonus cards and all that stuff.
So I mean, they're going to do it, but it's so rare.
But what I'm saying is this a thing that they should do in every set to get the draw for? The thing is, they haven't done this where it's so minimal of the amount of copies there are.
It's also not right because the One Ring is going to be everywhere. And so it makes it cheap. It's going to be cheap in every form other than the one of one. And it works because it's fucking Lord of the Rings.
You say that now.
I'm not going to say that they shouldn't do it, but I think
that motherfucker, the cheapest version is $30 at this point. It hasn't been opened yet. It's not
Right,
out.
right,
It's
right,
completely
right.
technically out.
And so like you'd have to go with like iconic legends from Magic. So you got to be talking like Gerard, you got Volrath, Yawgmoth, Urza, like and when it's like that's him. That's Urza right there. And a new form and whatever it needs to be, that's where you do it if you're trying to do it in Magic. But I don't know if I do it on a new plane that doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Going back to Ikoria, like do you do the 1/1 Godzilla card?
Sure.
Maybe that could be something, but as a Magic card, no. I think you'd have to have a skin on it. I think you have to have, or unless it's like the super, like the premium people that people always know. Like I'm saying, Urza, maybe Jace, but not all the planeswalkers. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like 1/1 Death of Gideon. Like, is that what we're doing?
Well,
he dies one time.
I guess what I'm trying to say here is Wizards. If you're in the Wizards driving seat and you're trying to decide how to
I agree,
do this,
Jeff. And the Eldrazi Titans 1/1s makes sense.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes, that's a very good
Yeah,
point.
Yep. I totally get that. Like, but it has to be just like what people know. They're bonkers. They're super good. And so you can't do that in every set. You might not even be doing that every year.
So this is what I'm getting at here is, let's say this plays out the way we think it's going to play out. This becomes the most sold set ever that Magic has ever done. How do you capitalize on that? How do you continue that? Like, if you were in the Wizard's seat, how would you do that? You wouldn't just stop it. You got to figure out, how do we do this with every set that we come out with? The drive for people to buy this is insane. Like, this is the first time I've been like, buy sealed. And if you want to make money, you're risking that, you know, whatever, you have serialized stuff in there.
Right.
But you're going to make money. You can hold it and sell it like pretty damn quick if it doesn't get sold. Like, I think the
personally,
serialized,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think the serialized thing, where the fact that they are not only, it has the number, but it's a different art. It's a twist on it. It's not the exact same as everything else. If you do that with every set and you have serialized stuff, which they've done for the last 2 sets, that's the way you do it. You keep doing that, but you cut the rarity down to something that's really big in that set, and you cut it to minimal things, not 1/1, but something very close like that, you know?
Right. The thing is, though, that like Lord of the Rings is incredibly unique when it comes to fantasy. In my mind, like the last 80 years of fantasy
is based off of Lord of the Rings.
Based off of Lord of the Rings, right? Everybody's from boomers down have interaction with Lord of the Rings, other than reading or the movies, and or the new show, you know, that came out. Think about like the new show that came out on Amazon. I was like, this feels too soon almost. It's been goddamn 15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was the 3 movies were so good that it doesn't feel like it needs to be remade. It doesn't, but like, you know, the show is different. It's a prequel to a degree, but like having that thing rolling is great. There is very little that can compare when it comes to like ease within Magic as well. And so like Magic feels like Lord of the Ring because everything fantasy in the last 80 years is based off of it.
Oh, for sure.
And so you're just so like, oh, that makes sense. I love this. Blah, 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 blah. And what else compares to Lord of the Rings? And the next thing I'd say is like Magic, in my opinion.
Right.
But like if you start going in with like sci-fi stuff like Dune or Blade Runner, like those are huge movies, but they're not really. They don't really. It's like Warhammer, probably a little bit, that just doesn't do it for Magic. You know, like and it was it was throwaway joke, but like Lion Witch and the Wardrobe is kind of there, but not.
Yeah,
right.
Let's not get religious here, Lowry.
Well, I mean, Tolkien and Lewis were friends, and your Tom Bombadil is kind of a god.
He's
You know what I mean?
fantastic. That deck is godly.
He's one of my favorite characters. It's Samwise Gamgee, and then it's Tom Bombadil because of his fucking randomness.
Speaking of Sam, here we go. Can you hear this one?
Come on, Mr. Frodo. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
Could you hear that whole sounder?
Yay, I heard it.
Don't cry, Lowry.
I heard it, and it hurt me. Oh my god.
Oh, and by the way, this one.
What are we holding on to, Sam? There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for.
I wish those eagles could talk because they just saved the whole goddamn thing. I was crying. Oh my god. I need to rewatch these movies. Not movings. That's some more talking.
My lord.
Oh my god.
Movings.
Oh, god, they're good. I might sit down, as RoboCop was saying, I might sit down with my 6-year-old son and watch the movies. I have not.
Yeah, it's
God,
fantastic.
I just remember going to the first movie, and your younger brother Joe, who is now a full grown adult, but
talking.
I was sitting.
God.
Joe was to the right of me, and your dad was to the left of me.
Yeah.
And Joe kept on going. Like,
What is that?
like
What is that?
Halfway through my
Who's
chest.
that? What is
What's
that?
going
What is-
on?
Who's
Every
that guy?
15 minutes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Who's? It might have been Two Towers, but it was fucking.
It was the second one because I saw the first one with my aunt, but I was there for that one, and you were just like, "That
Joe,
was the
you
fucking
killed
worst.
it for me. You killed it for me. You should. I don't know how old you were in 2003 or 4, but it was.
Stupid fat hobbit.
Stupid fat hobbit.
What about second breakfast?
Also, God, there's so many good lines, and in spots that didn't technically matter. You know what I mean? When you're talking about second hobbitses and what about what's Tater's precious? Those are just like
Taters, precious.
those are the parts that made Game of Thrones great. When it's like, oh, it's not a battle and it's not some fucking huge thing happening. It's that character development part. God, that's so good, and I wish that they wouldn't ruin that in shows and shit because it's so good. It's so fun. What's Tater's Precious is probably the most quoted movie line for me.
It's
in
not. It's,
my
you
history.
can't hear this. You shall not pass.
That too. Those two. But what's Tater's Precious is a fucking throwaway line.
It is.
And you
Stupid
shall not
fat
pass
hobbit.
is clearly amazing. Like that is a center point in the story. But what's Tater's Precious means nothing.
Yeah.
It's in a like it's a nothing part. It doesn't matter other than like, do we trust Gollum or not? But like fucking
Wait, is it Gollum or is it Golem?
I don't know anymore.
Oh shit. We have that whole like other part that we were gonna do here. Do we want to do that?
I don't
Are we
care. Can I go
diving
pee?
deep? You go pee and then I'll go pee, but how do we do that? That's not we're not discussing.
Let's do it. If you
This is a Lord of the Rings.
We're
This is
not
a Lord of the
talking
Rings
about
podcast.
it. We got to talk about it together. I just got to go pee.
Yeah, we this is the Lord of the Rings podcast here at this point because that's what we're doing. Okay, so one thing I did not mention really quick, I do want to go over this. So we have that, we have that, and that's where you can find that. But I did want to give a really quick shout out to where was it? It is I had it in my notes. It's from a Reddit poster. Credit to, because we give credit where credit is due. Unlike 2 dimes and a nickel. But it's Nostalgia Amon from Reddit put these numbers together. So if you guys wanted to see what are the odds and how much would you have to spend to get a certain the One Ring or any of the Elven rings or the Dwarven rings or the human rings, the man rings. So as you can see there, that's how you can figure out the 0.00003. That's where we know that there's over 3 million packs of collector boosters that are going to be produced, because that's what Wizards gave out. So we kind of can figure that out, working ourselves backwards. In order to get any of the serialized stuff, your odds are very low. Like the thing is, but even to get just the non-serialized versions of them, non-foil, it's still very low. Like, so if you pull any of these, you're talking hundreds of dollars for whatever one. And that's probably what I'm shooting for, to get. This is the set that I am going balls to the walls for, trying to get everything I can. And as I mentioned before, if I got the One Ring, I would be like, I want the serialized version of blah, 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 blah. But honestly, what I'm going to try to do is get at least the Elven version of each one of the Soul Rings, and then kind of post that up either in that back wall back there or right over there. I have some plans with the Lord of the Rings stuff, because this is kind of two of my nerd worlds colliding. So that is the breakdown of all that. And like I said, that is Nostalgia Amon. Like I said, I like to try to give credit, because we don't get credit when we do shit. So that's why we do that there. And then earlier, what I mentioned with Lowry before he gets back, I can see him coming back here, is be patient with the box toppers, like your Great Henges, all the ancient tombs, all the stuff that is the skins for these, because the longer this takes to get opened, the cheaper everything is going to get. So if you're right, this is a single set. If you want to make money off of the collector boosters, you can definitely do that. That is totally in your realm to do. But to get shit cheap, this is where you're going to get it. And actually, there's a lot of spec opportunity. Lowry's going to talk about that while I go to the bathroom.
What am I talking about?
I just threw you on the spot. Just talk about specs. Like what? Like the cars, our top 10. Like some of those are expensive as shit. Like,
right, just go pee. You should have just went pee when I could cut that out in the audio at least.
Yeah, but then we just have
YouTube's fucked. But nobody made it this far.
There's 4 people on. We still have 4 people on, right. And those 4 people are the most important. All right,
they are. We love you. All right, so I'm assuming I'm going to half repeat what Adam is saying here. To me, like if it comes to playing, and I don't want to pimp, and I just want to get the cards right away, you know, you go cheapest, kind of as fast as you can, and as the set comes out and as it rolls out, as cards get cheaper and cheaper, generally, you know, the first month is when in this kind of thing, in a month or two, it'll be as cheap as it's going to be. And that's where I would start looking at picking up the more expensive cards. So I like the Orc Bowmasters. That's not going to be a $20, $30 card. That'll be a $10 to $15 card, in my opinion, in the next month or two. Just with and with the collectors boosters being opened, the premium versions are more likely to be opened. So I don't know if I want to say it's an equal rate, but the prices will be fairly equal, as you can see in like standard, where the foils, like it all starts out even and then it starts to separate as time goes on. And the question ends up being is, when does the One Ring get found? And then when does that, and then later on the separation starts happening. And so the best time to spec is in this, you know, in a month or two, and you start getting those fuller foils as at the same price as a regular non-foil, non-precious, whatever card. And so that's how I would start looking at it. I'm going to get the cards that I want to play with because I'm a fucking Chad, but
a Chad.
I don't know why I said that. A hanging. I meant it as a hanging Chad from piece of paper. But that's how I look at it. Is wait a month or two, wait for cards to go down until the one rings. Start paying attention, and try and hop in on there for cards that you want. And I was saying Orcish Bowmasters being the most expensive, not 20 to 30. In my opinion, it's somewhere around 10, 15. In the long run.
I think that's what I also put. I said, yeah, I mean, the halfling, I said, wait till it gets under 5. It's at 16.
Right. That's an under $10 card.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Last March.
And probably, like you're saying, 5.
Yeah. Like last March, we have I have Gandalf the White is another thing to look after. Wait till that gets under 10. Mithril, wait till it's at 6. Like wait, you could.
Yeah.
It's going to get lower. You know, we haven't even hit open weekend. There's a lot of this stuff. Let's give it a little bit of time.
It's just still pre-release.
Yeah.
And that's the most hype is right now and next week. So if you can hold off on singles, unless you got a good store, like I plan on going to Cedar Cliff and Collectibles next Friday and fucking going through that as best I could, but it's probably going to be me losing money.
Do we get into the controversial stuff? Elephant in the room. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Fucking, you gonna say it or am I?
People that are pissed about the color of stuff, get over it. Like, seriously, come on, man.
No. Okay, no, you gotta be a little bit more straightforward.
Okay.
Aragorn is black, skin color, and there are a lot of people that are mad about that. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's just 1A, isn't it? It's Aragorn.
Aragorn.
Acorn. Isn't it Aragorn? There we go.
I think so, yeah.
No, I'm not spelling it right.
Oh, boy. let me get there.
One,
Two. What is it, though? It's A-R. Is it A? Is the funny thing is I always pronounced it like Aragon, like from the Aragon the Dragon series. And then like even when you hear it in the movies, they still sound like they're saying, okay, so really quick.
Aragorn, Aragorn.
Oh, that's how I spelled it, I thought. Maybe not.
Oh.
Maybe we got okay, there we go. All right, so I was right.
He's black.
Holy shit. All right. We don't normally get into this. We always skirt it. You guys know we skirt it, and then if you guys don't want to hear it,
other than the Bearscape hot tub incident, that was good. That was good stuff.
We're not going to dive deep into this. It's not going to be. We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we can, whatever. We've been drinking. Buy us another shot, and I will stay up for another hour. And we're not going to preach. We're not going to preach with it necessarily, but we are going to kind of preach because my biggest thing, and this is the point, and this is what I want to get across. And like, we haven't said anything about it. We have talked about it on Discord a little bit. You know, we've talked about it a lot of it on there. But we have not talked about it on the podcast. So, and I know it's a big deal, whatever. It shouldn't be a big deal because this is our day and age.
No, but this day and age right now is a big deal, and so it should be discussed. And
it is.
That's
the part that pisses me off a little bit. Is this is a story about the story? It is not a story about what color your skin is, and the fact that people are losing their shit. That Aragorn, or how I always like to call him, is Aragon, because that's how I always. Yeah, that's in my head. Whatever. It shouldn't matter. Like that doesn't matter. It does not change the story at all. And the fact that we are losing our shit over this is crazy. Like it's not even like you go to the Lord of the Rings series. Like, and I'm going to bring this stat up really quick. And this is kind of showing how our fucking society is at this point. Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, the series both came out the exact same time. You go to Rotten Tomatoes. You can check it out right now. I double checked to make sure because I watched it when it came out because people were like, "Oh, Lord of the Rings is getting just panned." It's like, no.
June 19th, 2023, when we're saying right now.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings was getting panned. And it's like, no, it's not. The critics are giving it 83%. Game of Thrones is 93%. So it's a 10% difference. Right. The viewer score was 38% for Lord of the Rings and 82% for Game of Thrones. The difference there is Lord of the Rings has 25,000 plus. Like, they don't even have the scale is out beyond the 25,000. Game of Thrones is at 10,000. So, but if you go on there, you just see the most hated, like, oh my God, I can't believe they changed the color of their skin. The hobbits, the halflings are this color. I can't believe that they made the elf black and blah, blah, blah. Like there's the most racist stuff. The thing that sucks about this all, and this is the part that I'm disappointed with, like, just life in general, is like, when I was a kid, my best friend, Tony Body and Julian, both of them were
Tony
Body, which he came to my 40th birthday.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Tony Body was there. He was at my birthday. You didn't see him there?
No, I mean, I didn't, but also
the
last time I saw him, I was drunk
there
and he was drunk, and we walked by each other. I was like, Tony Bang! And then he's like, I was like, Adam's cousins. Oh, and then we just kept walking.
Yeah.
So that was what was going on.
Like, when I was growing up, like, we would go on trips, and like, he came with us on trips and all this stuff, and there was racism, he's black, and people fucking hated on it. Like, went to Cancun, and like, somebody tried to kidnap him while we were there. It was fucking insane. It's just, and then I was like,
that's all right.
Yeah. I thought we would get beyond that, like, when I got to an adult, and I feel like it's worse than it ever has been. And then this came out, and you just saw, like, when the stream was going on and I was watching the live stream of these being spoiled because I wanted to see it all, you just saw the hate on the chat. And it's just like, it's crazy. These keyboard warriors that are like, I'm just gonna hate. And I don't get it. Like, I don't get how we have this much. Like, yeah, it's different than what your movie perspective of Aragorn is. Right. It doesn't change anything about the story. The story is still the same. Who cares that it got his color of the skin has changed? Why not add more diversity into this? It includes more of our population to like this as much as you do. Like, they don't have to be your color skin to enjoy this. Like, that's the thing, is like teaching my kids, they don't get that the color skin even matters. And the thing is adults do for some fucking reason still in 2023, and they lose their shit. And so,
well, and the funny thing is that it's indoctrination, but not the way that the people that are pissed off think it is. It's because they go, oh, this is being forced on me. And, this is wokeness. This is, I don't need to see black people. This isn't how the story is supposed to be, or this is how the movies were. And this is just can be life. This is still just a fictional story.
Right. Wrench, I just said it. It's awesome how people get mad about skin color of a fictional character.
Right. But having a black male lead is not unrealistic. It does not happen.
Oh,
that's double negative.
President a couple terms ago.
and so when you start, like, what is it called, like race swapping, the part where it potentially, I can see where people start getting upset, not just like in Fantastic Four, where Michael B. Jordan is in the movie and people get upset. That doesn't make any sense to me. Or this doesn't make any sense to me to a degree. And not to a degree. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
But they, when you take historical figures and race swap, that's where you can, like, be mad about it.
Right.
Where, like, where if you took, like, Martin Luther King Jr. and you put him as a white guy, like, that probably shouldn't happen. probably you could be mad about that. So like there's that aspect of like, is Lord of the Rings like maybe white what is it, entertainment? And you can say like yes to a degree for X amount of years, but as you're saying, like we're in 2023, and why is it this way? And you can say that it shouldn't be, and it isn't necessarily for a lot of people. So a majority, I would say, don't necessarily care.
Right.
And there are a loud minority that have those issues. And the squeaky wheel was getting the oil for a while and isn't now necessarily. And it depends, and kind of depends on who's in power and who's giving them the oil and stuff like that. And so like there are the bits of more diversity. There are plenty of arguments for more diversity. And this goes into politics. This goes into your entertainment. This goes into
let's not get into our post podcast conversations.
Right. Here's the question that I would go with people that have issues with diversity of really opinions. That's what it is diversity of opinions and the visuals that you're having. And so if you sat down and if you think that your wife, whenever she disagrees with you, is wrong, and then you get mad when she's right, you're probably having an issue with this because you have a problem with any opinion outside of what your worldview is. You need to be able to take in different ideas. You need to be like, there's the joke of, hey wife, where do you want to go for dinner? And she goes, I don't know, where do you want to go? And then she gets mad at you, but maybe just like tease it out of her a little bit more or know her better, because your wife's opinion matters.
Right.
Because your kids' opinions matters when it comes to a lot of different things. Now you as an individual can do things on your own, but when it comes to, and that's why diversity always has mattered for me, is just like taking in different opinions and then trying, if you're in a group of friends, even if they're all white guys, they're going to have different opinions.
Right.
And then if you're talking about your buddy getting potentially kidnapped in Cancun who's black, that's crazy, but it's not unheard of. It's not. And so you need to hear him like, oh, you're not being abducted. You know what I mean? You got to hear those kind of things. And that happens from other people, and other people have different situations than yourself. When this is a full worldview fiction, right?
Right.
You have a bunch of different people coming together. You have dwarves, elves, humans, hobbits.
Okay. Oh, boom. Boom. Listen to this fucking soundbite.
I thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.
What about side by side with a friend?
They wouldn't care if Aragorn was black.
Right. Well, but that's kind of the analogy of that whole thing in a little bit of a nutshell is you have these two different races. You have elves and you have dwarves that are supposed to hate each other. But in this case, Gimli and Legolas become best friends. And actually, in fact, if you go beyond the Lord of the Rings books or the Lord of the Rings, the whole story, those two go off and do adventures together. Like, these are not people that are supposed to get. And what this is saying is, like, you should not care about the color of your skin or the race. Like, we don't have races. We don't have dwarves and elves in this. We just have skin color. And that is the thing that we have the fucking biggest problem with. Like, even look at this picture right here. We have Aragorn and Arwen. She doesn't look like Liv Tyler. How are people not pissed that she doesn't look like Liv Tyler? Her hair is like more of a redhead. She is more of a redhead than Liv Tyler is. How are people not losing their shit off of that? Frodo doesn't look like Elijah Wood. Like how? Like it's because of the skin color is why we're losing our shit. Like what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like I'm sorry. And this is the biggest ranting you will see from us because we do try to stay neutral. But seriously, people, like if this is bothering you,
it's fine. It's literally fine.
Check
it's
back to
better than
1960.
fine.
Like
because when you get different opinions within just society and life, you take in more information. And if you're unwilling to take in more information, you have set yourself up for failure. Because in taking the best options and the best ideas and different opinions and all of this stuff, and if we want to come into politics, if you want just white rich males making your decisions, they're not like me.
Yeah.
I'd rather have, I'm okay. I'm not saying that white rich males should not have a say, but they should not have the only say.
Right.
And it shouldn't just be white people having the only stories.
Right.
And when you get 80 years out, you can take liberties with your artistic approach. That's okay. In my mind, you know what I mean? I can see why you wouldn't want to turn Abraham Lincoln into an African American. I can see why you don't.
Well, because it's real. That's real events. Like this is not real. Like this is made up.
Right.
And,
that's
that goes into kind of what I wanted to say too is that the stats I gave earlier about knowing that the viewers tanked the Rings of Power comparatively to Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Game of Thrones.
The fact that Wizards doubled down and went with it and main characters, kudos. Fucking A, Wizards. Yep. Like, you know that they got bashed for that, and it's still a successful show. Because everybody watched it, even though they fucking hate watched. Half of the people are just like, I can't believe there's black hobbits or halflings, whatever.
Right.
Black elf, whatever. But it
depends on what is the context of the show, and does the skin matter, like the skin color matter? And when I'm talking about like Lincoln or MLK Jr., like those are racial contexts that matter.
Right.
And when it doesn't have a racial context that actually matters, then the skin color really doesn't matter, because then it's a human experience.
Right. That's the story of Lord of the Rings. It doesn't matter who, like, they could be purple. They could be green.
Right.
It
We're
doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. The Lord of the Rings story is about the story. It's about the characters. It has nothing to do with the color of their clothing. It doesn't matter what they're fucking wearing.
So if you have a racial context that a story matters in, then it does matter. I totally agree that.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about just like a human struggle experience, then the skin color does not matter. People should be represented in different contexts, and because if you it does okay. We're lucky because we are white males, because we have had stories with white males in it our entire lives.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
But
that was one of my points.
But when we talk about, we say that it should not matter. It does matter, because having people that have heroes that look like them matters.
Right. That is a very excellent point. But that's the great point about this is they added different races to make it more relatable to how our world is at this point. This is what, at least, the US, we are a hodgepodge of races, like, and ethnicities. Why not relate to everyone instead of just being like, oh, like you hear that all the time where superstars of golf or whatever, like Tiger Woods was a huge inspiration on me,
right?
Because he was a different color, you know, like that's the thing is like everything you see, if everything's white, you don't see anybody that's like you. You don't think you can do that. And the fact that they added, it's not just black. We had Asian in this. I don't remember which characters they added. I can't think off the top of my head because 3 more Lord Sin and 11.1% alcohol.
We're getting there. After 2.5 hours, yeah. It's a podcast.
Yeah. But the thing is like the inclusion, that is a very excellent point that you made, is like, that was one of my bullet points, was you're adding in, you're reaching so many more demographics with this. You, just because he's not what your Aragorn is in the movie, it shouldn't affect you. This does not affect the story at all.
And again, the movies were different than the book, and the game can be different than both. Like they can be artistic differences. It's good to allow people to feel like they can be the hero.
Yeah.
And it's that same concept with Little Mermaid, and it just happens so often that it doesn't have, it's not being necessarily forced. It just doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, and again, it matters, but it doesn't matter. When it comes to the context of the story, it generally doesn't matter unless, in my opinion, it's a skin color struggle or that part, you know,
right? If the story
it doesn't matter
referencing that, because
when it comes to it matters to have representation,
right? In the story of Lord of the Rings, there's never a reference of skin color. It sounds weird to say this, but it is race, because it's more of orcs, goblin, like it kind of is, you know. It's like this battle of, I guess they're races, you know, creatures in our realm it would be creatures. But there's never a skin tone, color, race. There is it's never referenced, at least in the movies. And in the books, I know there might be, actually, I did see some arguments, but I can't confirm that because I listened to them, but it did say something about being darker skin, which was kind of like going against everything that everybody's fucking freaking out about. Like if this set was like, hey, we're going to follow the movies, then yes, okay. They aren't doing, if you're trying to do the exact characters, if you have, you know, Elijah Wood, and like it's like, well, that doesn't look like Elijah Wood. You know, like none of these characters look like them. But that's not what they're doing here. They're doing the story. It has nothing to do. It's the story, not your color.
No part of the story has anything to do with race.
Right.
And it's more of potentially an ethnic story where it's bringing races together.
Yeah.
Thusly going like a dwarf and an elf are friends and they work hard together and they're trying to accomplish a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're having an issue with just the skin color of a human or a dwarf or an elf, like those parts don't matter.
Yeah.
And so if you turned, it'd be weird if you turned like Legolas into a human, right? Because those are those points, but like that's that nuance that you kind of got to understand. Like it matters that these different types of people came together. It doesn't necessarily matter what they look like, and it's when you think about it, you're kind of going like, but it matters what they look like. It matters what they are, right? Mm-hmm. Dwarf, hobbit, all these type of things. But again, it doesn't they could do a different thing and have Gimli look completely different clothes. He doesn't have an axe. He carries around a hammer instead of an axe. You know what I mean? Like, all of these things you can change things as long as it fits, right? And so if you changed Gimli or Legolas into a human and they had that conversation, Gimli turns to Legolas and goes,
crazy.
Never thought I'd next to an elf. And Legolas is like,
I'm not
an elf. Like, that'd be a terrible
what? That's what I was gonna say, is like, go more extreme with it. Legolas is a squid creature, like that.
Right.
Like, what? I had no idea.
Thought I'd die next to an elf. And he's like, I'm
a squid creature,
spaghetti monster.
You know, like
what I mean?
Scooby Doo. He pulls off the mask and he's
Like
actually
that,
like a squid.
that doesn't
with
work. I get that, but that's not the complaint. Gimli didn't turn to him and go, I never thought I'd die next to a black elf. Like, and then Legolas goes, I mixed. Fuck you. You know what I mean?
Then
like,
it starts throwing out like racial slurs with other things.
You fucking short fuck. You know?
Oh, that'd be
Right, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That's the whole point. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right. Okay. So we got the elephant
All
in
right.
the room. We're
We're done.
It.
All right. Our Yelp review will probably get stoned like the Lord of the Rings thing.
What you guys just witnessed is Adam and Lowry conversations after podcast.
It's kind of what happened.
It's unsnipped right there, except unsnipped is normally beforehand. All right. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all. You guys, if you shouldn't be mad about the color. Like, that's all it is.
You shouldn't.
It's just a color, you know.
Right.
I'd like to be purple. That's what color I'd like to be. So
All right.
I don't know. Well, maybe not. Well, I like being cool. Okay. So if I could be clear to reflect the sun, reflect the sun
like
away
a
from
mirror?
me. Yeah. So I don't feel the sun necessarily, like being cold. My wife would like to be as dark black as possible so you could absorb the sun. Like that's how. Anyways, that's stupid. All right, let's end this shit. All right. Again, reminder for everybody. There is multiple things happening this week related to Lord of the Rings stuff. We have the battle boxes that are going to happen this week. Most likely Friday will be the battle boxes. Wednesday is our deck tech, so we're going to help you guys. If you guys like those commander decks, we are going to do a budget, $20 or less, and we're going to go through those on Wednesday, starting, I'm guessing, at 9 o'clock, maybe a little bit after. We'll see if that happens, but it'll be Wednesday, and then both Lowry and I will be cracking our boxes later this week as well. So if you aren't subscribed to YouTube, do it so you find out when we're doing all those.
Do it.
Or join the Discord. That is the other option. So, all right, guys, that should do it for this week. We will catch you next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
I love boobs. I'm talking tatas. I love boobs. I'm bonkers for honkers. I love boobs. Thanks for the memories. I love boobs.
You didn't use your mug this week.
I did. I set the mug